the service industry is such a business that if you take your eyes off for 30 days, it will go down. So 35 VCs post-COVID rejected EazyDiner. So he walks up to the desk and he says, "Can I get a late checkout?" The lady quotes the policy. "Sir, checkout is till 12 p.m. If you stay till 6 p.m., it's a half day charge. If it's post 6 p.m., it's a full day charge." Okay. So he said, "Yeah, if Michael Dell couldn't get a early check-in and check-out, what a big problem it is, yeah? Something wrong with you? Why do you want to quit? You're doing so well." I said, "I know, but I think we need to solve for food and beverage in this country. And food is very dear to me, and I think we'll build the biggest eating out platform in the country. We are playing for the world. We're not playing to be India's best hotel company."
Barbershop is a place where we discuss, the spinal theme is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship se fir the conversation goes in multiple places. But, I have heard about you so much, especially from Rahul and Sid, who kind of think of you as the person who defined hospitality, especially in the luxury space in India. And now, because of the huge spike in tourism, we are now developing a reputation of being one of the most hospitable countries in the world. And you led a large part of that through your work at the Oberoi hotels across decades and what it stands for. And we have one right opposite our office as well. But talk about that journey and, what hospitality means for you when you joined it as a young hotel management grad to becoming the president of Oberoi Hotels and now an entrepreneur. But tell us about the industry a little bit.
So thank you for having me here, Shantanu. It's great, and I absolutely love the design feel of it. I love design a lot, actually. So actually, hotels happened by accident here. I never wanted to be a hotelier, really.
Okay.
The only thing common was there was a love for food from my father. My father loved food. I love food. Everybody loves food. So I think the only love was food, actually. Okay. And actually, my father was a doctor, so I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
But I never cracked any medical exam here. I kind of gave every exam. AIMS, I think 1,95,000 was my rank. I think 2 lakh people appeared, or maybe 1,96,000 appeared. So I think I was a good student, but I was not like really on it all the time. So I couldn't crack anything pretty much of any significance. And then there was a new college which came, was College of Business Studies in Vivek Vihar, and all that became really CBS. It became quite big at that time. That was only private business college and all. And fortunately, I cracked it. But before I would go, somebody stayed the admission process there because I think the then Home Minister at that time was, got his daughter through some back route or something happened. They had to cancel the admission process. I was left with nothing. So to prepare for CBS, which only had 50 seats and I think some 20,000 people appearing, I had given the hotel management exams just like I'd be ready for it because I was quite a last minute guy. Still am a last minute guy. So, and I cleared. And it was very hot in Delhi when you give the exam. So in the hotel,
this is Pusa Road, was it?
Yeah, Pusa. But there are 16 colleges across. So it's called National Council of Hotel Management. I gave the exam. It's very hot in Delhi in May and June, like right now. So I said, they asked me for preferences. So I said, which is the best place, best weather, Srinagar. I wrote Srinagar. Okay. The second best weather is, we heard Bangalore. Never been to Bangalore, but heard Bangalore for a 18-year-old guy. So take Bangalore. The third one, we said, okay, Delhi, apna hi shehar hai. Delhi mein kar lenge, Pusa mein. So I remember my interview, they said, Mr. Chopra, we're very sorry to disappoint you, but due to the terror problem in Srinagar, that college is closed. So that was quite embarrassing for me. I didn't tell them that I kind of ticked it because they first asked me, why did you want to go to Srinagar? I said, I believe it's a beautiful place. Have you been? No. Okay, so the college is closed. We don't know when it's going to open. So do you want to look at any other choice? Then I really wanted Delhi, but I had given Bangalore. So they said, okay, we're going to send you to Bangalore. So I went for my first year hotel management to Bangalore, but when I went there, I think something happened to me in the first 6 months and I said, I absolutely love this.
Really?
It's got food, because I can eat, okay, everything. Every week there's new food to eat and I said, this is absolutely amazing. And then by second year, I moved back. And because by the time I'd become very intense in my career, I was like, can't mess around too much.
That's interesting. You were like 18, 19?
Yeah, I was 18, 19, but I was like very clear. I said, I'm not going to be a doctor because, my father can't give anything to me now. So I really need to build out. And I said, okay, I really like this line. I think it's interesting. And something was happening. So that time OCLD, which is Oberoi Center of Learning and Development, very premium management school. So 20 people get in. 10,000 people apply, 20 people get in and, it's like 7 rounds of interviews and whatever, very tough to crack in. But, when I would walk in, my seniors would say, you would crack Oberoi, And every college used to get 1 or 2 people. Total intake was 20 from all over India. 10
This is like a master's program.
This is, actually kind of a master's program, but tough to get in. Because you could go out anytime, because every round is an elimination round. So it's more like luck. I think it's 50% luck, 50% you make it. So I kind of appeared and I kind of cracked that. And then I went to OCLD, then I did 2 years. Then I was totally, by my second, third year, I knew I only wanted to do hotels. I really wanted to do hotels. Public healthcare stayed in my head, and later on that would manifest into what you saw during COVID at charity beds as the best initiative maybe in this country. But that kind of always stayed at the back, still stays at my back. I still think I need to solve for public healthcare at some level. I always
Really?
Yeah. I think a lot of people think I'm only hospitality, but no, it's we need to solve for public healthcare in this country. I'm deeply, deeply passionate about public healthcare, as much as I'm passionate about hotels. You send me to Safdarjung Hospital, I can really analyze it beautifully for you. I've been there many, many times, and I can really analyze it for you. But it's a totally different side of my life, and one day I'm going to go there too. But really, and then hotels happen. Then it's a magical world. It's an absolutely amazing world. And then I just kind of went in, and because I was always working very hard. Like a lot of people ask me, what do you think you need to do? And I always tell them, just work hard, man. Just outwork everybody else. That's it. Just outwork. So I kind of outworked everybody. So that.
But as a young 20, 21-year-old, where was your first, and you went to OCLD?
So I went to OCLD, I cleared OCLD, and I would then and the great part was I did my industrial training, which is a tougher training during hotel management that you go and you kind of treat it like anybody else. And I did that there, and then finally, something like, I think 15, 17 years later, I would return as president into that company. And I'd meet those same guys who were my trainers at that level. So it was amazing to talk to all of them and whatever. So it was a great journey. I worked with Oberoi for 5 years. But, the seeds had started. There was never any capital because, Shantanu, our generation came from very typical middle class
Which
families.
year was this, sir?
This was I went into hotel management 91, 94. 94, I passed out of hotel management, and 94 to 96, I did my management training program at the Oberoi Group, got posted in 96.
What was your first one?
First one was Bombay. I was hardly there for a month.
The one at Nariman Point?
The one at Nariman Point, Oberoi, Mumbai. And then I moved to Oberoi, Bangalore.
Okay.
And I worked in Oberoi, Bangalore for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I came back to Oberoi, Delhi, which we finally got renovated in my last stint at the company. And then I quit, actually. And the reason to quit was very simple because I was by the time I was highly ambitious, very driven, working very hard.
You're mid-20s, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and I was really driven, but Oberoi had a very strong batch system. Which batch are you? It's a bit like IAS, a bit like IIMs. If you're not
Cohorts,
this batch, you can't be doing. So front office managers in a hotel which run a department have to be this batch. You're good, but you can't be here. Oh. So I said, why should I conform to this system? So I kind of quit and I opened the first Grand Hyatt in Delhi.
So you joined the Hyatt?
Yeah, Hyatt, and it became the Grand later on, and there's a big fight between Grand Hyatt and all. And and it happens in a corporate career. My career was nearly gone, Shantanu. And what happened was that Hyatt and the owners never got along together because unlike Oberoi, which owned most of the hotel, this was a separate owner. And the Hyatt never got along. Today it's no longer the Grand Hyatt; it's called the Grand. So things were going really
Vasant Kunj wala.
Vasant Kunj. So then things were really going downhill from a career perspective. And then the lady and the gentleman who trained me at the Oberoi, who were the principal and the number 2 at the Oberoi school, the Oberoi Center, where I topped the batch, moved to the Taj because the Taj was undergoing a big transformation. Mr. Kerkar had just been taken out by Mr. Tata. Okay, in whatever terms, maybe I should maybe say it a bit more slightly better. Mr. Kerkar had just moved on. Okay, and Mr. Tata had appointed Mr. R.K. Krishna Kumar as the boss, and Mr. Krishna Kumar was putting in a new team in place. So my ex-bosses moved there, and they called and said, "You need to come in here." So I was, I think, 27 or 28, and I became nearly the resident manager, de facto nearly resident manager. It's called EAM, Executive Assistant Manager, of the hotel, which was huge.
The Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal in Delhi, which was absolutely huge. And because I was now because in hotels, you rank hotels on the basis of what we call revenue per available room. That's how hotels look at hotels. Yeah? Okay. So they say, and it's a very simple formula. How many rooms did you sell last night? What average room rate did you sell them? Divided by the total number of rooms. So very simple. You sold a room at 10,000 rupees. You did 90% occupancy. So your revenue per available room was 9,000.
9,000, okay.
Yeah, very simple. So Grand Hyatt was one of the lowest hotels because in Vasant Kunj that time there was only a forest. There were no ambience mall and the promenade. There was nothing. There was like a forest. There was a green part of the building. And Taj Mahal Delhi was the hotel. So it had Rick's, which was a really happening bar. It had Machan, it had House of Ming, iconic restaurants. And so suddenly, one day in February, I walk in and I am the number 2 of that hotel. And I am on the 5-people executive committee which runs all the Taj hotels in Delhi. Because these guys planted me there, and I'm like, wow. And I'm sitting at Rick's, and all the managers come and saying, so you should come and have a drink here. And I'm saying, 1 month back, it would be tough for me to even get in.
Yeah.
So it was really
What
great.
is the revenue per whatever available room in Grand Hyatt?
At Grand Hyatt was much lower because it used to do less than 50% occupancy. They were always full. And then, as my career was going up, 9/11 happened.
2001.
2001. So this is 2000, 2001, 9/11 happened. And the industry went through a big shakeout. My boss, who was a fantastic man, a guy called Nigel Grocock, moved on from Taj. A new management was still there. Another gentleman called Raymond Dixon that I would work with later would come onto the scene. But by that time, I got a call from the Oberoi. And they were opening the Trident in Gurgaon.
Okay.
And by that time, I developed a reputation for really being on it and really focused on service and guests.
So this is like a property senior management kind of role.
Yeah.
What were the skills that you were building at that time? Like, what was it that was really the muscle for your...
So I always tell people, when people tell me something, I said, if there's one skill that you need to build, it is selling. You need to know how to sell. A lot of people don't know how to sell. And why is that important? Because in selling, when you are in sales, you get rejected 5 times a day.
Correct.
So you learn to handle rejection. I just heard a podcast of Jensen Huang where he stays at Sanford. I wish you pain and suffering.
Yes,
he
says the NVIDIA founder.
Yeah, NVIDIA founder, and he says it. Yeah, and that's the whole idea. Sales will give you pain and suffering.
Correct.
Operations may or may not, because you're sitting in an air-conditioned thing, you're eating a nice meal. It's okay. Yeah. Hello, sir. How are you? How's your stay going? People are generally polite 90% of the time. In sales, 90% of the time, when you're calling on cold calling or calling on accounts, guys are not polite because they've got different priorities. Correct. So it's difficult. It's a difficult skill to learn. So even when I was doing, and I tell people, a lot of people ask me that, you moved so fast in your career. But the whole point was, I remember I was in Bangalore, all my friends and batchmates were going to Goa every weekend because Bangalore to Goa was cool. And Goa was cool 30 years back too.
Yeah.
So I would only go to Goa when I had a baby and she was 4 years old. That was my first trip to Goa. I never went to Goa in 2 years, never, no weekends. Every time there was something, I would be attending sales meetings. So I was learning sales although I was in operations. So I learned
it was all self-done.
Yeah.
No one was telling you to do it.
Nobody was telling me to do it. So it was very important that I kind of did it. And then I kind of overdid it to such a level, Shantanu. I remember one day I was walking on Brigade Road. And in those days, I'll take you back, maybe you would not know this, but there's Archie's and all those. Yeah. So those kind of places. I went into an Archie's outlet on Brigade Road and I picked up a card. Okay, the card had a goldfish in a bowl. Okay, and on the top of the card says dairy of a goldfish. So the goldfish is writing a dairy, and the dairy reads like this: Monday, 8, swam around the bowl, slept. Tuesday, 8, swam around the bowl, slept. And it just goes on like this till Monday to Saturday. 8, swam around the bowl, slept. Okay, and on the last day it says, I just thought I'd take a moment out of my incredibly exciting life to write to you. So there's a greeting card. And I looked at this and I said, that's my life. That's what I'm doing.
Correct.
I'm working and I'm attending these meetings. And what am I doing? And I'm sleeping and I come back. And even I'd love to do night shifts, because night shift, when you're a lobby manager in a night shift. So if you go to the hotel post 10 p.m., the lobby manager at the desk takes over the whole hotel. So he's got no boss, because 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., he's the boss.
Correct.
So I used to love doing this night shifts because I was the boss. Yeah, so I would come in, I was staying alone. So at 9 p.m. I would come in, घर में कोई खाना बनाने के लिए नहीं था, and then so I'd come into the hotel and say, I can tell you my order. My order at 9 p.m. would be 2 garlic naans, butter chicken, dal makhani. Every day.
Are you serious?
Every day.
How do you look like this?
So every day, and then at 2 a.m. there's a break, because there's a break and all arrivals have gone, so it's lobby, and night audit is happening. So night audit systems used to go down, unlike today where systems don't go down. So you take the entire system down for 45 minutes. The system audit is happening. So you go to the restaurant, and every time I'd go to the restaurant, I'd eat a chicken burger
at 2 in the morning.
At 2 in the morning, and apple juice. Every day, straight. Okay, so I did this for over 2 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, but not night all the time. It's night, day, afternoon. There were 3 shifts. But yeah, so I used to love doing those night shifts. So then I would go home, I'd sleep, wake up, and then attend the sales meeting in the morning. with the sales guy, and they say, "Why are you here?" I'm saying, "Just trying to learn, buddy. How do you sell? Because I'm catering to the guys that you sell to, correct?" So I'm just finishing the loop. But by the time I would get transferred to Delhi, I was maybe the only guy who had 3 years of sales experience while nobody had any sales experience. So my boss didn't have sales experience. I was the only guy who understood sales because I had seen 3 years of pain every morning in that meeting, and the director of sales grilling the sales guys and saying, "Why are you not able to get business? Why did the competitor hotel do better?" And those guys answering. But I had 3 years of experience, which other guys did not have any. So I already had a very
That was a big
advantage.
leapfrog in the career.
I think that was a very big learning curve. So when I would move to the Taj, it was also the fact that so finally you've got to get the entire operation together. So you deliver guest service excellence and you sell at the highest price, which leads to the highest profitability. When you have the highest profitability, you can do the most absolutely amazing thing for your team members and people. And that helps you retain the best talent. So it's like a self-feeding machine. It's a wheel. You need to play that wheel. You don't do good sales, your hotel doesn't do well, the great people don't stay with you, quality of guests suffers, quality of produce suffers, you cut costs. And
It's a downhill slope.
So the service industry is such a business that if you take your eyes off for 30 days, it will go down. So you need to be on top of it. You have to treat every single... So I tell my guys that, when people come to us, we have to treat our guests like an emergency room physician, my public healthcare focus. An emergency health room physician treats a patient with seriousness. You never walk into a hospital emergency room and the doctor's just walking on and say, "Yeah, I think this guy's going to die." No.
Yeah.
When a guest is saying something to you, that should be your attention and focus and say, "How are you feeling?" So think like that. Although it's a slightly morbid example of getting in service excellence, but think like that, because if you think with that focus, then you be able to really do the right things for your customers. So that kind of became the underlying theme, and then it was, I think, right place, right time. I got very lucky, so I got picked to run Trident Gurgaon. I was only 29 that time, and hotels is a legacy business. So the same batch system comes in. So you can be a GM when you're 35, then you can be a VP when you're 45, then you can be an executive VP when you're 55, then you can be a president when you are 60. This is legacy. You have to do your year. It's a bit like IAS.
Yeah, the hard yards.
You have to do that, yeah. There's no reason to do that, but that's how it was structured, yeah, when I was kind of coming up the ladder. So I kind of moved pretty fast, and then I went away to Taj, and then from Taj I came to Oberoi, and then I kind of stayed on there. But I still remember it was 2007 and 8. And think about it, that there is no capital that I have, yeah, because I'm coming from a middle class background, and a hotel takes a lot of money to build.
Correct.
And I didn't even own a house. Personally, I did not even have, even my parents did not have a house. We always used to live in a rented
Where would you
accommodation.
live?
We were staying in East Patel Nagar in Delhi. And so how do you even think of building a hotel, which is a multi-million-dollar ship?
Correct.
This was nothing. But I still remember in 2007-8, after running the Trident, and with Trident I got very lucky.
Okay. Say more about that.
Because you see, what was happening was, it was the only hotel in Gurgaon that time. Yeah, so, and...
People don't remember, 2007-8 Gurgaon was so different from what it is.
Yeah. So I used
There was
to
no
stay in Delhi.
ambience mall?
There was no ambience mall. So I used to stay in Delhi. So, and from East Patel Nagar, I'd come for the morning meeting. There was no National Highway 8. There was one road.
MG road जाते थे ना पीछे वाले.
नहीं, यही road था. There was one highway. यही highway था. But ये एक सड़क थी. ये highway नहीं था. सड़क थी. So अगर इसमें ट्रक खराब हो जाता था रात को, तो I used to call the hotel and saying, अब 3 घंटे के बाद मैं आऊँगा. आप लोग morning meeting कर लो. Because in a hotel there is the thing called morning meeting, which happens at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. depending on the hotel you run. So उसके अंदर all the head of the department meets, they discuss everything and whatever. The hotel is like a small city. Think of it, you're running a small city with its own sanitation, electricity, food, kitchen, everything. So I tell them I can't make it because the truck is gone.
Correct.
So it would take many years for this entire thing to come up. And the Trident was amazing because it was built by a master architect called Leg Bunag, who's one of the most brilliant architects in the world.
Okay.
And because the gentleman who owned the hotel was a political figure, and Mr. Oberoi told him again and again that I will not build next to the highway. So he said, then Mr. Oberoi said, okay, if you're ready to get Leg Bunag, then I'm ready to build it. So we got Leg Bunag, one of the most amazing architects in the world, to build this hotel. And that's why even if you look at it, the Trident Gurgaon is actually one of the most beautiful hotels in India.
Yeah.
Just look at it from an architecture design perspective. When you walk in, the water body, as you walk in. So I was the opening general manager of that hotel. Wow. And that hotel would change my... So like in everybody's career, there are seminal points. One seminal point was going to Taj, really. Okay. And I got a double promotion moving to the Taj. Then I got promoted again very fast to move 2 years later back to where I started at the Oberoi. And so that became a big issue because the Trident became the most successful hotel ever in India. Ever.
The Gurgaon Trident.
Yeah, ever in the history of Indian hospitality.
How did that happen?
And that's why, because there was so much business and we were able to optimize, we learned sales. So I remember the budgets of the hotel were that we will sell rooms at 5,500. By the time we ended the year one, we were selling rooms at 11,000. And the budget was we'll do an occupancy of 80%, we were doing an occupancy of over 90%. So the numbers were like mind-boggling. So what happened in 2 years, 5 months, we paid back the entire capital cost of the hotel back to the owners, everything. So the hotel was free. So suddenly you've got this big cash earning asset, which is making a profit of over 50 crores a year. Those days, 2004, 5 is making 50 crores a year, just one hotel, and it's free.
Give me a sense of like what was the second Trident earning at that time? Was it Trident Bombay or which?
No, so the Trident was always the Oberoi's economy brand.
Okay.
But because Gurgaon was in such a, it was in the right place, right time, we were also pushing the thing. Our service was great. We kind of ran it to top standard. It became India's highest revenue per available room, more than any hotel in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, anywhere. It was India 1 in a suburb of Delhi. Okay, it was India 1. So that kind of changed my entire career because suddenly everybody woke up and said, the Trident, which is supposed to trail the Oberoi, was now the superstar hotel of the country. Forget about beating the Oberoi, it was just the superstar hotel of the country. It was the most expensive hotel ever in terms of average room rates. And that also, if you could get a room, the thing was you couldn't get a room. Okay, so I made a lot of friendships during those days because everybody called me for a room. Saying, can I get a room for the night? Ek kamra mil jayega. So yeah, so it became, so the Trident became the real superstar hotel, and we had a phenomenal team. And from that, the kind of profits of that hotel would actually go and build the Oberoi Gurgaon. So the Oberoi Gurgaon was actually built out of the entire profits, and that's what happens when you get success in a very good hotel. The Oberoi Gurgaon, which is also hugely profitable right now.
I love that place.
So yeah, so was built out of the profits of Trident Gurgaon. So I kind of ran both those hotels for a long time. Then I ran the northern region for a year. Then my
northern region is how many hotels are there?
So there was, northern region has a lot of hotels. I had a smaller portfolio. I had Agra, Jaipur, Udaipur, and these two hotels.
Okay.
But
Jaipur is the Uday Vilas.
Jaipur is, no, I was running the Tridents there, the three Tridents, the Oberoi Gurgaon and Trident Gurgaon. And that change happened, again, serendipity. We had a president of the Trident group who quit that time, who was like, I think, maybe 15 years senior to me or 12 years senior to me. And then we had a very nice gentleman called Liam Lambert who had come in from Mandarin Oriental. And he was the president of Oberoi. So Oberoi and Trident had separate presidents, which also led to an administrative issue, I sometimes thought, because both the hotels sometimes were together.
Yeah.
So, you're kind of playing against each other. And then both of them kind of quit within a year. So suddenly there was nobody. And I was called in, I still remember, it was 4th August.
Which year was this?
This is 2012, exactly, 2012. I was called in 2012, 4th August. I knew, so there was a general managers conference at Oberoi, Mumbai. And I was told just as the conference was ending, I had requested that I needed to leave early morning the next day because the conference was going on the 5th, but it was my birthday. So I said, I want to be with my daughter. If I can just leave because, the agenda was over. They said, yeah, but you just come and see us in the evening. So I met my chairman, Mr. Oberoi, in the evening, and he says, Kapil, we're thinking you should be the next president. And I said, I was like, totally. There was absolutely, I had not even thought of it and all. And I was 39, I think, that time.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So, and my predecessors were both, I think, 57
yeah.
or 60. I think Liam was 57. I think Mr. Keswani was 55 or something. So, and they said for both the brands, not one. You will run both because we think that system's not working. So it was the biggest job ever. And I was not sure because I just opened the Oberoi Gurgaon. I was too deeply involved in the hotel. So I knew this would come and corporate jobs are a bit about other things than just running the hotel sometimes. So I said, I really need time to think. And he says, are you really kidding me? I said, no, I really need time to think. But I'll take time till, I think, December end to say yes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was, first of all, I was taken by surprise, which generally
there must have been a lot of people who would have been overlooked to give you the job, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, many. So, and one was getting everybody, taking all of them along and whatever, which was there, and which was not difficult because, we always had a great rapport throughout. But then it was very clear. So he says, you've got to take over. And then December, the announcement was made. And 1st January, I kind of took over the company. And then for 5 years, kind of ran it totally, completely.
Describe the company, Oberoi Trident, at that time, 2013, Jan 1st. What is it that you inherited? How many properties, revenue?
So it was 30 hotels. Revenue would be in would be huge, I think, still, because 7 group companies. So what do you got? Maybe 5,000 crores. Maybe it's double now. Yeah, I mean, difficult to calculate because all separate companies. But yeah, I mean, so it was amazing. But it was going through a very tough phase at that time because a lot of the government change was happening. This is 2013.
Correct.
So a lot of negativity in the market on India. Scams were coming out. So it was very, very tough days actually, and hotels were nearly empty.
Is it?
Yeah, it was nearly empty. I remember, I just met Aditya. I called up Aditya, who's the CEO of Indigo that time, and I said, I need your crew, the Indigo crew in Trident, Bandra, Kurla. And I remember it was 2,500 rupees per room with breakfast.
Are you serious?
And I said, thank you, Aditya. Okay, it was 32 rooms. Okay, but even that was important for us. Can you imagine? Now, today you can't get a room there at less than 30,000 or 25,000 rupees a night. So just to give you an example, it was that bad. And I still remember, I think in the next 5 or 6 months, the Oberoi EIH price would drop to 46 rupees. And by the time I would quit on 31st of January 2018, it was 219. And that price would only get crossed, I think, in the last 12 months. Never got crossed for 6 years. That price stayed at the highest price. So again, I think it was a very good journey. But I think I had the good fortune of working with Mr. Oberoi, the legendary hotelier with attention to detail. Even by the time I would quit, he would be 88, and he'd still pick up a call, one ring, midnight also if you call him for anything, and totally on it, passionately driven, everything. So I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from actually a lot of good people. I think one of the great things about Oberoi, and started with his grandfather and then Mr. Oberoi, is the DNA that they set up on customer service excellence, which was absolutely amazing. The problem that I see today when I see hotels, I see brands, most of the people in India are now making it to flip it. The biggest challenge that I see is people are not making institutions. I think institution building is very important. We look at Google, we look at Facebook, Meta, whatever you call it. The institutions. Apple is an institution.
Yeah.
And I think there's an absolutely great opportunity to make institutions. Because why? You've got the youngest population, aspirational India, people are spending more and more. The Bombay Shaving Company does not sell its shaving creams cheaper than Gillette, for example. You're more expensive actually.
Correct.
Yeah? Why? Because its aspirations of people who are seeking that tea tree oil, I think, will actually buy it. Yeah. So it's aspirational. People are saying, I will pay for quality.
Correct.
In this environment, actually, we should be making more aspirational products. Our hotels should be the best in the world. So I always tell people, anybody says, but I get asked by a lot of analysts, do you think hotels in India are doing well? I said they're doing absolutely amazing. It's the best year possible. But from a branding perspective, it's maybe the worst year possible.
Say more, in what way?
Think about it. Go back 20 years. Yeah. 20 years back, there was a gentleman called Mr. Oberoi, my ex-boss, who was making great hotels. The Oberoi Uday Villas, the Oberoi Raj Villas. Those hotels were not supposed to be the best hotels in India. If you listen to his story, he says, I went to a competitor hotel and the toilet paper was so bad, I used to carry my own toilet paper.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's a story that he spoke about all the time. And then,
I've heard that he gets involved in even like
everything.
The marble.
No.
It has to be the correct marble.
You go much beyond that. Even cuts of chicken and everything also. How the chicken needs to be cut and also. He was involved with all that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's why he's such a legendary hotelier. So again, so he was making these great hotels. There's another gentleman, Captain Nair, who did not have half the money that Mr. Oberoi had, but was making these amazing hotels. The Leela Palace in Bangalore, the Leela Palace in Delhi, the Leela Palace in Udaipur. So two of the greatest guys in India, which is not rich, 20 years back.
Correct.
Yeah. And they're saying, what liberalization? Hum bana rahe. Okay, so these guys are making these great hotels. Okay. And India की economy देखा जाएगा. आएंगे, foreign tourists आते हैं, नहीं आते, कोई हम बना रहे. Yeah. And कोई infrastructure नहीं है, कोई roads नहीं है, airports नहीं है, flight connectivity नहीं है, हम बना रहे. Okay, so they're making this. Okay, and now today look at it, both of them are gone. Okay, they are no longer there. And who's making such great hotels? Who's saying that we are making the best hotels in the world, not the best hotels in India? So I think, a full curve strong, I tell my team, I said, I'm sure the Leela guys, the Oberoi guys are saying it's our legacy also, but the Leela is now owned by a fund, the family no longer involved. Mr. Oberoi has moved on, the family is still involved, but has other very strong shareholders in the company too. So I think my point is, maybe we should do it. I tell my team, guys, this is our shot, let's do it. Even if we fail, at least we'll fail gloriously.
Yeah.
People will say, they really tried it, okay? And they were good. They were maybe not as good as Mr. Oberoi and Captain Nair, but they were really good too.
Yeah.
I think we would have won. So if you are, but the whole point is, we want to put India on the global hospitality map. That was the whole thinking at that point.
But talk about this. So now, you're now. How old were you when you decided that, okay, I'm the president of this of the best hotel chain in the country, youngest, but you're like, okay, this is also not cutting it. I want to go out and start my own hotel chain. Like, if you took 3 months to decide to become the president at 39, this decision took longer, or was it something in the head for a while?
This decision took a decade actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So 2007, 2008 was the first time I basically went to a digital branding agency and said, create mood boards for me. Yeah,
for your own
Trident. Oberoi bhi nahi banaya tha. I never constructed a hotel. So, so I learned how to construct when I constructed this hotel. So I said, make a mood board. And that brand that time was called Insignia Hotels and Resorts. Insignia, the tagline was the mark of luxury. So yeah, this is very good. This is what we'll make. Okay. पैसे हैं नहीं जेब में. Flat खरीदने के भी. Okay. अच्छी तनख्वाह है. Paid very, very well because numbers are fantastic. So paid the highest salary. Okay. But hotel बनाने के पैसे नहीं है. So, well, बनाए जा रहे हैं. Mood board बनाए जा रहे हैं. Insignia, the mark of luxury. Holiday, stay like never before. Business hotel, which make you forget that you're on business. All that. पूरे mood boards बन रहे हैं. With great taglines. Okay. So तब से idea था. पैसे नहीं थे.
So तो mood board आपने ये बनवाया देखने के लिए कि क्या बन सकता है?
नहीं, बनाना है, नहीं, सोचना शुरू हो चुके थे. So
करना ही है.
Yeah. So there was a new corporate development guy who came from Bain into the group as a head of strategic development, and he and I were talking, and we kind of did a whole deck called very inappropriate or appropriate for current times called Saffron Hotels. Okay. I don't know what would have happened. It would have been a political issue if I did the saffron.
Oh, it would be so cool.
No, but non-veg serve karte tho. I don't know what would have happened. So we had this Saffron Hotel deck and all. He knew all the Excels and all and whatever. And I didn't know any Excel and all. So I knew how to run a hotel. I said, Gautam, let's do this. And so kind of both of us made a deck. And we started pitching to foreign investors too. Who were
really?
Yeah. In 2008, 2009, banate. It didn't work out. I started moving up too fast. I got promoted again, then became president. So the dream slightly went down a bit, but it was always there. The first thing that would happen was EazyDiner, because always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I went to New York. We had won the best hotel brand in the world. So
which year was this?
This is 2013. 13, yeah, I think we won the best hotel brand in the world, or I think we won. So we 1 or 2, something like that. And we were there in New York, so our PR team and clients had a breakfast meeting with this editor, lunch meeting with this editor, dinner with this person. So खाने का शौक है. So सबको phone कर दिया, and the industry knows everybody. So even today, like today morning, I was at the Leela Palace in Delhi. They all know you. So we all are very, very friendly at that level, and very, very hospitable to each other when we go into each other's hotels. Very hospitable.
Okay.
So I told them, I said, listen, I'm coming tonight. Book a table for me. I want to eat this out. Why have you got 1-star Michelin? I want to see. Okay. So the guy's telling me, boss, that's okay. But can you book on open table? So I'm telling you, I'm coming tonight. Why do you need me to open on open table? Apps bhi nahi hoti thi tab. So he said, it goes into the system. Kind of made me think about it. And then one of my guests at the Trident was Deepak Shadatpuri.
How?
DSG Consumer Partners, and he was a big F&B guy too. He was investing in F&B companies. And he'd done everything, so he's F&B. So he's telling me, he's saying, yeah, in Singapore also we have Chop. You should do a restaurant reservation. I said, nobody will make a reservation in India. India में कोई reservation नहीं बनाएगा. Everybody walks into a restaurant thinking it's their dad's restaurant in this country. Okay, especially Delhi. Okay, so I said, nobody will make a reservation. Yeah, we should do a daily content side on F&B. Best 10 ways to make biryani. Best 10 places. We should do this. This will work. He's saying, Kapil, ad-supported businesses don't run. But listen, if you want to do something, we can do it. But then I remember I came back from New York, and this was always being discussed. So one day I walked at the Oberoi in Delhi. It was Wednesday morning. I still remember. And I asked the guy, I said, so how are we doing today? And he said, and Oberoi Delhi has a very famous restaurant called 360, which is always full for lunch. Always full for lunch. No matter which season, rain, sunshine, whatever. It was a great restaurant, great views, great food. And the guy said, well, I have no reservations, but it's Wednesday morning, and Delhi is vegetarian on Tuesday, sir. So Wednesday, it'll fill up. I'm saying, really? He said, yeah. But we have a table for you in case you are entertaining somebody. I said, no, I'm not asking you because I need a table. But is this the way you forecast business? This is the best hotel company in the world. We just won in New York. But this is how the best in the world forecasts for business. It's like the farmer. करेक्ट? इस साल बारिश नहीं पड़ी तो फसल खराब हो गई. हमारे भी वही है सर, इस साल थोड़ी बारिश ज्यादा हो गई, धूप ज्यादा हो गई, लोग कम आए लंच पे. This is our forecasting. So nobody kind of built a reservation pipeline into the restaurant.
Correct.
So we said, ये कैसे तरीका है? So I said we should build this. So I started reading up in the night on that, and I suddenly realized there was a very, very big opportunity that nobody solved for eating out in this country. And it was still early days. Cyber Hub was not there. There was no Cyber Hub. There was nothing. So it was still early days. So those time I said, no, we should build this. It kind of was looking easier to me, Shantanu, because I didn't need $10 million to build something.
Correct.
He said, ye ban sakta hai. So I started researching on it, everything. And I think by the time it was totally crystallized, I was 2 years as president. I'd seen what it takes to be president of a great company. And I said, so I walked into Mr. Oberoi's office and I said, sir, I know the results are, and we'd kind of doubled the profits. I think between 13, 14, nearly doubled, I think so. Exponentially grown our operating profits, exponentially, I think doubled. And so I walked in and I said, I have done it. I want to go now, sir. And he said, are you something wrong with you? Why do you want to quit? You're doing so well. I said, I know, but I think we need to solve for food and beverage in this country. And food is very dear to me. And I think we'll build the biggest eating out platform in the country. And he said, but nobody makes a table reservation. I said, I know, but I think we will. If we start it now, people start making a table reservation. And so that's how the idea of EazyDiner came about. And he says, but don't quit. So I made a full disclosure that I would have stake in the company, but I'd operationally not be involved with the company.
With EazyDiner?
Yes, because I was the president of a listed company. Yeah, so I would operationally not be involved. And for that, the Oberoi group, I think, or an entity had 5% of the company, which I can buy back whenever I decide to quit or something. So there was a kind of an arrangement made out. So from a corporate governance perspective, that I'm not involved, but they're aware, and we put in a team together. So for many years, I would attend every single EazyDiner function. Everybody would say that, all the people at EazyDiner are guys who know Kapil. Kapil is very pro EazyDiner, but he's not the founder. Means, how can that be? Yeah.
Correct.
So I had a very fancy title as non-executive chairman of the board of like a startup. Okay, so this is how it happened, and so I think by 2018, Shantanu, it became. I think the last 3 years, maybe last 2 years of my job, I just did it because I think the social status was absolutely amazing. If you're president of Oberoi in a city like Delhi.
President is the CEO, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I had a CEO, but president is the person who has operational command. So entire operations reports into you, to the president of the company. So and anybody who has operational command means you have everybody. If all the general managers report to you, that means you run all the hotels. Then everything else is just more administrative or whatever. So it's a very good position, even for the current people who are doing it. It's a great position. And so it was difficult. And every time I thought of quitting, I think my boss had something. I would get a raise, always I think kind of went up by a crore or whatever. Every single time I kind of, or 80 lakhs per crore, every single time I kind of walked into the office, I said, you're doing a great job, salary kept on going up. Yeah. So I was making great money. The perks of the job were great, absolutely amazing. So it was so difficult to leave. But the last 2 years, I look back on my life.
I asked Aditya the same question. Like, if you work at the Oberoi, can you stay at the Oberoi for free or is it very discount?
No, it's free, of course.
Nice.
More than you, it's your family too, because your family also stays free. So means if your president is traveling, he'll always get a very good suite. Even the family will get a very good suite. So your family is used to. So my daughter,
spoiled.
No, not spoiled really, but she's been really, she's kind of grown up in a hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, so means all the chefs across India today, or most of the general managers know her. Drisika, how is she? What is she doing? Like they know her because they saw her as a baby. Yeah. She was coming to the hotel as a baby. Yeah, to see her father or whatever. So your food is there. So. And that's a very interesting story when I was quitting what I did. But again, but EazyDiner came out first. So I really wanted to solve for eating out in a very big way. And then Zomato came and Swiggy came. And those were really different experiences, Shantanu. Because for the first time, I realized that from a corporate to a startup is a totally different game, actually. But I always say this, if it was not for EazyDiner, then Postcard wouldn't have been where it is today. Really. Because EazyDiner taught me that. And a lot of people ask me, who is your favorite child? Really, and between both the companies, they kind of know each other because most of them have worked at Oberoi at one point, especially the operating teams. And I always say EazyDiner, which is very strange people find because I think Postcard Hotel I can still do with my eyes closed. EazyDiner is very challenging. It's got
it's totally different business.
Totally different business, a tech business. And And it's got two great companies, Zomato and Swiggy, who are in the delivery space, but who think they're in the eating out space also. So they keep on coming in whenever they want to come in. So it's like, so I think it's a very interesting space to be in.
And how did EazyDiner do from the conception point till the time you decided to leave the Oberoi?
So
Like 3-4 years, right?
So I think, yeah. 2018 I left. EazyDiner started 2014 operations, yeah. And I still remember, the first month, April was April 2014 when it launched.
For people who are watching and have never used EazyDiner, describe what EazyDiner was at that time.
Okay, so I think for people who are watching and have not used EazyDiner, if you're ever eating out, please don't believe me. Just download the app and just book your table on EazyDiner. You will save 40%. I guarantee you. At the best restaurant, at the best hotels, at the best places like Indian Accent also, you will end up saving money. Everywhere. It's like everywhere. We built the best eating out company in this country. We now have 2 of our own co-branded credit cards, which most startups don't have. We now partner with 22 banks. So I always give this example and I say, look at both the companies in the delivery space, Zomato, Swiggy, add Amazon, Flipkart, add Myntra, add another 3 consumer startups that you want to, and compare the number of bank offers on those, 1,000 rupees or 500 rupees off if you use a credit card, and compare it with EazyDiner. This entire stack, you choose any 10 startup companies. I leave the choice to you, consumer, non-consumer, anything, and EazyDiner will beat them. It has 22 bank offers getting you $1,000 off instantly when you pay on the app. 22. It owns 2 credit cards on its own. We have 2 of our own credit cards, a platinum card and a black card within IndusInd Bank. So we've kind of turned it around into an eating out powerhouse actually. If you are eating out without EazyDiner, one of the big things, it takes you 10 seconds to book a table, 10 seconds to pay on the app. It's instantly off. So I'll give you a real example. For example, the Westin in Gurgaon, we are now shooting this episode in Gurgaon. The Westin in Gurgaon is 50% off. It's 1+1. So you and I go, 2,500 rupees for the buffet. Both of us have a quick bite at lunch. It's 5,000 our bill. If I'm booking through EazyDiner, EazyDiner has a program called Prime, which is their top subscription program, which is priced 10x of any other program because it's a very solid program. We actually made it for American Express Black. So again, the service excellence model comes in every single time, and I'll keep on coming back to it. You go to that program, Shantanu, so our bill is now 2,500 because you and I used EazyDiner. Okay, while 2 of our colleagues did not use EazyDiner, so they paid 5,000, so ours is 2,500. Then I'll take out my own co-branded credit card, or I take out an Axis Bank credit card, or I take out a Citibank credit card, or I take out an HSBC credit card, or I take out a ICICI, Kotak, DBS, name it, just name it. I take out any card and I get anything between 25% to 40% off instantly over the 2,500. So now you and I have eaten at Westin for 750 rupees each. You can try that tomorrow afternoon. And that's one example. Like this, there are 125-star hotels. There are 15,000 restaurants across India. Instantly. So if you've not used EazyDiner,
I have not used it.
Anybody who's not used EazyDiner has wasted company money. So there are now corporations in this country, including top consulting firms that you are referring to, who have a mandate that official bills will not be cleared if they are not eaten on EazyDiner. That is why 22 banks partner with us. Because think about it. I think Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy, Myntra would, I think, have more turnover than EazyDiner for sure. Yeah. So why wouldn't banks give that offer there and give it to us? Banks don't love anybody, correct? You and I go and say, I'm Shantanu, I run Bombay Shaving Company, I'm Kapil, I run EazyDiner. Can you give me 500 rupees loan? They'll say, Aadhaar card lao, salary slip lao, or koi collateral lao.
Correct.
500 rupees chahiye to.
Correct.
So why are they giving $1,000 on this platform and giving 100 rupees or no offers on any other platform? Because the average order value on eating out is 3,700 rupees. That's second to travel. If you run a credit card company and if you look at the numbers for SBI credit cards, I think their top line is something like 2,400 crores.
Correct.
And the profit is something like 600 crores, 700 crores. I don't remember the last number. And what do? They just run plastic, correct? They have customers who use it as merchants. They don't run any business.
Correct.
So credit cards are a great business. And think about it, in 1950, when credit cards started, the first use case in 1950 was to pay a restaurant bill. The first time somebody gave a credit card was not to buy a cycle or a t-shirt or anything, was to pay a restaurant bill. It's on Google. Evolution of credit cards, just type through. The United States has 32 dining cards. India has 0. Now 2 with EazyDiner. That is why we did it. So we are solving eating out. We're saying if you want to eat at home, Zomato and Swiggy.
What is a Diners Club? That is something different, is it?
Yeah, Diners Club was Diners International started. It was one of the first few credit cards in the world. Really? So people forgot about that. Like I said, US has 32 dining carts. India has none. And for a growing aspirational country, will more people stay at Postcard or will more people eat out? So to give you a number, our first month we did 10 diners a day. 358 diners in April 2014, the whole month. 358 people ate out. Now on a good day, like a Friday night or a Saturday night, EazyDiner seats close to 1 lakh diners.
Every on that day.
On that day. Every weekend is a lakh 10, lakh 20.
Per day.
Per day, not the whole weekend. Per day. That's the power of EazyDiner. And now you, on this podcast, you've discovered it. Make it mandatory. So a lot of companies, a lot of consulting companies especially, have a mandate. Have a mandate. If it's not booked on EazyDiner, it's not to be used and the bills will not get cleared. So we kind of today have close to what? So if you get an American Express Centurion card, an Amex Platinum card, you got a Citibank card, you got a Henderson card, you got a Kotak card, you got an ICICI Emerald, just name any top card. The EazyDiner Prime membership is a built-in feature, as a product feature of the card. A bit like Book My Show became a product feature with credit cards. So we're a product feature of that card because eating out is the biggest use case for credit cards, really. And our average order value is the second highest after travel. Now travel is saturated.
It's such an interesting business model because you're basically saying I'm creating a marketplace for consumers, giving them great value by giving restaurants footfall and making using financial leverage in the whole system for you to create profits.
Exactly. And the best thing that happened, Shantanu, was we had no money because nobody was ready to fund us. Yeah. So 35 VCs post-COVID rejected EazyDiner. So first time when we used to go for funding, so they used to say, founders not full time. Real founder तो आप full time ही नहीं हो. चलो यार full time आ जाते हैं. Full time आ गए तो फिर कोई और करने नहीं, पर आपके space में तो ये लोग कभी भी आ जाएंगे ये करने के लिए. So my response to that was both of them are great companies, but then Google's a great company too. Then Google can do all businesses in the world. They have the best data for everything.
Correct.
They can produce everything, sell everything, distribute everything, deliver it to your home. That's not the idea. There's a niche, there's an intrinsic knowledge, and also because I came from the industry, I understood the restaurant's problems better. So whenever the industry went back on a backlash against the aggregators, it never went on EazyDiner, and in public they said, these guys understand us because they are restaurateurs themselves. They know what it takes, the pain. The pain of running a hotel or a restaurant is known by them. So EazyDiner is, we never say we're a tech company, we say we're a restaurant company. And tech powers the restaurant discovery and booking.
And you never were tempted to get into delivery?
We did during COVID because there's nothing else to do. But I have a very different take on delivery. I think it's a very high frequency, great use case. But I've always been more focused on, I believe the culture of a city is with eating out spaces. Nobody says in Europe that I will go and stay in this hotel and then order room service inside. Yeah, most of the hotels don't even have room service, really. It's to come out. Why do people go to Paris? The brasseries, the cafes and everything. Why do people go to Europe? The cafes, the brasseries. Why do people go to the US? Great places to eat.
Correct.
People always talk about it. I think eating out is always going to stay. And it's a high margin business. And I don't understand low margin businesses, honestly. I really don't. So I would be a total misfit. Because even today when you call, so for a lot of banks now, Shantanu, we run the dining programs. So when you open a particular bank website, actually we are powering the program. When you call their helpline, actually we are picking up the phone at our concierge level. So we run our own in-house concierge services. Everything is run totally in-house control. We control everything from end to end. So we are if I may say, eating out powerhouse. And finally, because so many people said no to us and we heard things like people will never eat out in COVID. Like, I got a mail from a VC, one guy saying, I don't think people will eat out. I said, so you think everybody will watch Netflix, eat at home? Saying, no, that's not what we're saying. But we don't think eating out will be a significant part. I want to tell him, buddy, what happened now? Do you really want to see? Okay. One day I'll write a book. Okay. So this is crazy. So yeah, but okay, so you've got the money, you can say anything really. Yeah. And so I remember, but that was very tough. So, but there were good things that happened. We nearly got funded. So Goldman Sachs.
After COVID?
No, before COVID.
Before COVID,
we nearly got funded.
So how was were you funding it or was the company now creating cash?
No. So we raised, no. So we got the first round from DSG. Deepak was very clear, we need to build this.
Correct.
The Series A happened with Sama Capital, which also wrote a check in Paytm, very supportive. And BNext came into that round with a small check.
Okay.
And then, I always tell people, so people ask me, what do you need to be an entrepreneur? And I think you can answer in a nicer way too. It's basically, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to have two qualities. One, you need to be very brave. Yeah, especially coming from where I came from, where I didn't come from a young boy kind of opening something. You need to be very brave. And the second is you need to be really stupid.
Okay.
Okay, because you should be like brave and stupid. You need a combination of both, so that
You can jump off the cliff.
Yeah, you think. So I still remember, I walked into the Oberoi, and I have 10 crores in my bank account. The postcard is not the postcard, it's called Project D. I don't have a name for it yet. Yeah. And I'm saying we are going to build the next level of super luxury hotel. पैसे 10 crore रुपए. Zomato का massive round हुआ. हम देख रहे हैं यार क्या round कर रहे हैं यार ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं ये लोग. हम कह रहे हैं हम eating out को solve करेंगे इस problem को. लेकिन ये तो पैसे raise करे जा रहे हैं. So and Swiggy raised even more money than Zomato. यार ये दोनों तो पता नहीं क्या कर रहे हैं. ये तो कभी भी आ जाएंगे eating out में. So we were like really scared and then the LPs for DSG were doing this LP visits that they do. So it was a Sunday. I still remember it was 27th February, I think, 2018. 26th or 27th or 25th.
You remember dates really well.
No, because these are seminal dates in my life.
4th August and then 1st Jan now.
So this happened and then, so these guys come in and the guys are staying at Lodi. I've just come out of the Oberoi. I've just been like 3 weeks out of the Oberoi. And the meeting starts, he says, so you ran Oberoi? I said, yeah. Bad hotel company. I'm like, nobody had ever said that to me. Like, bad hotel company. I can still tell the gentleman's name and yeah, it's Anthony Weldon. He runs a very nice thing called Denlo. And the meeting starts off on a wrong note. So I am just out. I'm still very deeply passionate about what I ran. For
You still are, many years later. Yeah.
So like, I'm like, boss, it's not a bad hotel company. It's a great hotel company. Yeah. I never stayed there. I only stayed Amman. I said, but there's no Amman. That's called the Lodi now. He's saying, yeah, but still better than Oberoi. So this is how the meeting starts. So I tell them, I was thinking like, listen, Deepak, I'm doing a favor by being here on Sunday because it's your LP. But, you know, this meeting is going to finish in 20 minutes. And then we start talking about EazyDiner. And then look at it, then look at it, then look at it, then look at it. And the meeting finishes and he says, and we kind of warm up to each other during the meeting. And he tells me, he says, Kapil, you know, we wrote a check in OpenTable. You guys are 10x ahead of OpenTable right now. And that became a multi-billion-dollar company. So I think what you're doing is right, as long as you're still on the right path. So I want to ask you one thing. We want to write a check for a first India investment directly into EazyDiner.
Wow.
And I'd just been 1 month out. I said, that's great, but, you know, speak to Deepak first, you know. And I called up Deepak immediately after the call. He said, this is what they said. And he said, that's great. And they're a great LP. Take the money. It's coming in, Kapil. That's a great validation. So we said, great. And he says, give me a week. I will tell you how much I exactly want to put in. Yeah. I never understood the importance of this earlier. And exactly a week later. Now, very few, and I think this is a very important message if you're running a venture capital fund or whatever. Be timely. They start ghosting. Yeah. Be timely means you need to learn how to do things. Exactly 7 days later, and there are LPs in Tiger Global, there are LPs everywhere. But this is the character of the people. Exactly 7 days later, I have an email in my box and saying, Kapil, we wanted to put in 2 million. We've done an internal meeting in our own thing. We now want to put in 4 million. Can you give us the same valuation as the last round? I'm like, I mean, 10 crores. Okay. I said, of course. Okay. And that's how EazyDiner got funded. Till that time, I had no money for Postcard. I was showing the Postcard concept to people. People saying, yeah, it's great, it's fantastic, and but it's something. But I should just slightly come back to Postcard and talk to a very interesting story on Postcard, which is so. Before I quit Oberoi,
so one thing. Let me get this right. You quit. You were at the Oberoi. You wanted to quit. They didn't let you quit. So you started in a non-executive capacity, EazyDiner, with possibly a team which you would kind of meet once in a while, or maybe once a week or once a month. You built that out. Then 2018, you quit. Then you raised capital for EazyDiner.
EazyDiner already raised 2 rounds till that time.
2 rounds. But then one more round came in from the LP. And then the Postcard idea was in your head from the days of Insignia, Saffron.
It was there.
वो दिमाग में चल रहा था.
वो चले जा रहा था, and it was evolving, but I was looking at data points. And I'll come to those data points, and finally I said, I need to go. But I think the final straw really was, I read Jeff Bezos' book on minimization regret theory. And I said, listen, I've never had that money, but now I've reached, you know, I started from nowhere, came here. So let's play this game, you know, I'll minimize my regrets. So I looked back on my life and I said, listen, I really tried building a brand and failed. No problem. But at least I will not hesitate. All I need to make sure is that my family does not have to live with the choices that I make, which may be wrong or whatever.
So they're protected.
Yeah, they're protected. So I make sure that they're protected. And I said, let's do this now. And it changes a lot. And I'll tell you how much it changes. So like 15 days before I was to quit, in January, Mr. Oberoi called me and said, go to Bombay, because we run 1,300 rooms there, go and do a final review with the teams. So that for the next 2 months, everything is set till we kind of figure a way out that who's after you is going to take over and do whatever. I said, okay. So I go. So we just bought 15 S-Class Mercedes. So the car comes up, Okay, fantastic. The suite is ready, and I'm sitting in the suite in the evening, having a glass of wine, and I'm saying, boss, last time in, next time I don't even know if I can afford it as an entrepreneur or not. Yeah. So everything is great, fantastic, and all. 2 weeks later, so the news makes it to Economic Times page 1 that he's quit. Kapil Chopra quits to become an entrepreneur because hotels are anyway very high media visibility places.
Sexy job, no?
Sexy jobs. No? So it's like up there. So it's up there, and I get a call. And the gentleman is Mr. Cyrus Mistry. He says, can you come and see me? I said, I'd love to come and see you. And he had just stepped down as Tata Sons chairman. The fight was
going on
at its peak.
Okay.
At its super peak, actually. So I call up my EazyDiner. EazyDiner का हर जगह एक ऑफिस है हर एक शहर में. And everywhere the first car we buy is an eco. क्योंकि हमें boards ले जाने होते हैं. जैसे आपको अभी भी नहीं पता EazyDiner, हम board लगाते हैं आपके ऑफिस की बिल्डिंग के नीचे. EazyDiner, book on EazyDiner, all that. तो पूरा पीछे लोडिंग होती है, 2 लोग आगे बैठते हैं. So the only thing we always do is, भाई India is a hot country, AC eco होनी चाहिए. Okay? तब वो eco AC के साथ नहीं बनाते थे, पर हमारे लिए हम वो लगवा के वो लेते थे. AC वाली eco. Okay, so I tell my EazyDiner head, listen, I'm coming. I have a meeting with Mr. Cyrus Mistry. Pick me up from the airport. रास्ते में बात करते हुए जाएंगे कि how's EazyDiner in Bombay doing and all. And this is like I'm just out of the job as president for 10 days. Yeah. So he comes in an eco. Which is very normal otherwise. But 15 days. I said, yaar, boss, we're going
to meet Mr. Mistry.
Cyrus Mistry.
Was it Tata Eco, right?
Yeah. No, it is that Maruti ki eco.
Maruti eco, correct.
The loading van that you see, the loading van.
Yeah,
we're in that eco.
I thought it's a Tata brand.
No, eco that van, that Maruti van का जो बड़ा version है eco जो चलता है, loading के लिए use होता है, commercial vehicle loading. So हमें तो loading ही थी, तो हमारी सीट और पीछे पूरी loading के लिए सामान रखने के लिए रखा. तो सूट में मैं ऐसे आगे होके बैठा, मैंने कहा यार गाड़ी तो अच्छी ले लेते हैं. He said, सर हमारे पास तो है eco. I said हम वो ठीक है, पर आज के लिए कोई छोटी गाड़ी और दूसरी ले लेते हैं यार, हम कैसे जाएंगे? So Shantanu, we got down 100 meters before the office कि यार कोई देख ना ले, हम लग्जरी होटल कंपनी बनाने जा रहे हैं. इनसे यार तुम्हें गाड़ी तो ठीक कर लो, ठीक है, कोई लग्जरी होटल की कोई इमेजरी होती है, ये लोग कैसे बनाएंगे, ठीक है. So we get down 100 meters and then we start walking. Okay, and Cyrus Mistry was an absolutely amazing man, absolutely. There's a beautiful line I read, and I was in touch with him even a week before he passed away. And there was a beautiful obituary I read on him that one of the greatest qualities he had was that he always left you better before you met him. He always left you better. So you always went better. After meeting him. Okay, he always left you better, which was absolutely amazing as an obituary line, and I kind of completely agree to that. So I meet him, and he says, "Listen, didn't we really nearly hire you at the Taj as chief operating officer when Rakesh Sarna was the CEO?" I said, "Yeah, you're right." So he says, "Yeah, but you didn't come." I said, "No, I couldn't desert Oberoi. We're fighting a war. Oberoi and Taj was like kind of at war that time." So I said, and Mr. Mistry, generals don't desert.
Yeah.
So I was the general of that army. Rakesh, my good friend, was the general of this army. So we couldn't, I just couldn't move. It would totally demotivate my entire team. And he says, "So what are you planning to do?" I said, "This is what I'm planning to do." I said, "Okay, great. Let's try and do something together." So that meeting happened. And then after the meeting, he says, "Come, let me drop you down." Because he's a very nice guy. I said, No. He said, "No, I insist." And I said, "Yaar, ye eco leke baithe hue niche." So I said, "No, sir, we will walk." So hum bahar. I said, "No, actually I have to go to the art galleries in Colaba and watch something." His office is next to the radio thing in Colaba, very close to the Taj really. So I said, "I have to really go and meet somebody and from there." And he said, "Oh, okay, then it's okay." No, nothing. So we walked 100 meters, the eco was parked there, sat in the eco, took the flight back and came back.
Wow.
So that's how it changes. If you've done a corporate job. So today, a lot of corporate guys are quitting to really become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So that's the first realization you need to have. That it all changes, huh? Significantly.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah. So I think then EazyDiner, coming back to the EazyDiner story. So then EazyDiner, we raised the capital, we did a big campaign, became quite a nice name and whatever. And by that time,
who was competition for you then? Zomato, Swiggy were not Dine Out?
No, not eating out that much. That time it was Dine Out.
Dine Out.
They
got acquired now.
They got acquired by Swiggy.
Swiggy.
And it was a good company. It was a very good company actually. They started doing payments on restaurants much before we did really.
Okay.
We only picked up post-COVID because I said nobody will pay the bills on the app. And people said, "But look at how well Dine Out is doing." I said, no, we will run a true blue reservation service. Yeah. And then COVID happened and people started getting used to paying everything on the app. And we did it and the rest is history.
Okay.
I think two things wrong that, or two things better than they could have done was, I think they again went into a normal startup phenomenon in this country, which is burn money. and acquire customers by giving too much discounts or whatever. I think that's what happened. And I think they started running out of cash at Times Internet level, which then finally sold them to Swiggy. I think if somehow they could have survived that year, they would have been a great, formidable force. Really, they did payments much before us and did a very good job at it. We did only two things right, Shantanu. One, we did not exclusively give our rights to one bank. So I worked with 22, they worked with one, which is HDFC. And the second thing was we never lowered the commissions. We said, this is what it is. We charge 5%.
For the restaurant.
5% of the restaurant, plus a payment gateway charge. This is what it needs for us to service the business. That is what we need to do. And boss, if anybody's giving 1%, 2%, 3%, it's not a sustainable part of the business. You want to invest in a non-sustainable way to run the business, go ahead and do it.
Correct.
So we survived then. But COVID was bad because 2019, just coming back, Postcard has just started 2018 and 2019.
You started Postcard by then?
Postcard started on 18th December 2018. So 1 year after I'd nearly quit, 10 months after I quit.
But was there a property or was it a company or was
No, so it's very simple.
It was not a part of EazyDiner.
No, it's a totally separate game. It's a totally separate game because EazyDiner is mass consumer, mass premium consumer. Postcard is super premium consumer. So 2019 was tough in the sense Postcard had just started. And I'll come back to Postcard, but I want to really tell this story for all entrepreneurs listening to this podcast. Goldman Sachs came.
Okay.
Yeah, our first real blue chip guy said, you guys are doing an amazing job. Yeah, and Dine Out was Dine Out. The world was very similar. COVID hadn't happened. I said, we want to run a $25 million round into your company. 25 million for guys who just never raised money. For somebody like me who, at that moment, I thought that, okay, Kapil, today your entrepreneurial journey, if you had to tick, let's say, 5 boxes in my self-actualization journey of entrepreneurship, box 1 is ticked.
25 million is a big deal.
25 million is a big deal, like huge, yeah. So I said, ho gaya, struggle nahi hogi iske baad. So we go all the way and we go all the way to the chairman Asia Pacific, Mr. Murata for Goldman Sachs. Great meetings, love it, welcome to Goldman Sachs, very great. And then I remember we had a VC meeting at another fund, which we'd already committed. So we met for the meeting and I get a call from Goldman saying, hey, you guys went there, no need. It's all done, just don't go. I know you, I said it was pre-committed, that's why we went. We're in with Goldman. Everything is okay. And then 15 days later, I get a call. They said, so much so they did a diligence on us. Diligence is okay because very strict on corporate governance. Diligence is fantastic. The guys who do the diligence saying, sir, we are very good at research also. Your thing is done, but you should help support us also. We're also an entrepreneurial chip. I said, of course, everything is fantastic and all. And they said, there's a situation. The Special Situations Group, Goldman Sachs, SSG, which is investing, has merged with some investment ICE or something in the UK. And both the partners have never met, but now they're one division in some internal restructuring in Goldman. That means every single deal, and we were number one on that deal, just before us, Rebel Foods got funded. They were the last guys in, we were the first guys on the door. And the gentleman, absolutely amazing partner from Goldman Sachs, Niladri Mukhopadhyay, who now leads co-investments at Goldman out of New York. Niladri said, Kapil, I'm really sorry, but if this was just 2 days later, it would have been done. So we missed out by 48 hours, a 25 million check.
And so they couldn't do it?
They couldn't do it. I was down, Shantanu, to 4 crores. I was down to 4 crores in my bank account. And now, let me give you a great timeline. This is October 2019.
This is 6 months before COVID.
6 months before COVID. And they say, the newly constituted investment committee is going to meet in 6 months. They give me an email. Give us 180 days, please. Please note, you are cleared. The case will be presented to the newly constituted investment committee. Okay, we are really looking forward to Goldman joining the cap table. So I call up Niladri. He says,
this is crazy.
So I'm going to put you in touch with a couple of people who will help you tide over. I said, but Niladri, I'm only down to 4 crores because I started spending. Now the money is coming. I have to absorb 25 million. I've never absorbed 25 million. I've run but we were always very frugal, Shantanu. You should come to our office here. We're great office, but very frugal in the way we think, although everything else is great. But we are always very cost conscious. We kind of built it like a real business because we were never building it to flip it. We are building it to run it. So I called up Deepak Shidatpuri and I said, Deepak and Ash, this has happened. So they said, Kapil, don't worry.
And they must have known about the Goldman deal and everything, right?
Yeah, so they were like very happy. Everything passed in the board. The board said, yeah, okay. Board gives permission to raise money, everything. All done. They're like, yeah, man, it's like on. So everybody's saying, when is the money coming? money's coming in December. By December, we'll have the money. So all this deal falls through and we're down with 4 crores and we're burning 1.5 crores a month.
That's 3 months of cash.
So less than 3. So yeah, because those days restaurants pay much later. Business goes now, pay much later. It takes time to even collect the money. And then, so I call up Deepak and Ash and Denlo and Be Next and said, guys, I need some money. So they said, okay, Kapil, we're going to send you 10 crores at the same valuation of the last round. And don't worry, be there and then we can go to the market and raise again. How does it matter? Goldman's not coming. The company was good, always very nice. Even by that time, numbers were good, everything was good. People, money would come. Yeah, say, okay, we'll go to the market again and say, okay, listen, guys, this is not working due to their internal issues. And Niladri was so kind, he said, Kapil, anybody asks me, take my name. I'll tell them it's an internal issue with us. We absolutely love the company. Anything they want to ask, I'm your guy. So they were nice, but even they were stuck. So anyway, so March, COVID happened. But December, money didn't come till Christmas. I called up Deepak and Deepak said, and that's what a good investor is. Okay, and he says, Kapil, even if I have to sell my house to send the 10 crores, it will come. Okay, and it'll come before New Year's. And it came. Made sure everybody did the round. Everybody was nice. And that's why having great investors is a very important part of the journey. And the money came. So that 10 crores came. If that 10 crores wouldn't have come, I think there would have been no EazyDiner. Because then COVID happened in March. And we were really, really struggled. Means everything was shut down. Everything shut down. So I had 2 businesses, both were customer-facing businesses, both went down. Postcard also shut down.
But how many hotels were you in Postcard by then?
I think by then we had what, 3 or 4? I think 3. 3. 2018, 19. No, I think we had 3 or 4. Just between 3 or 4. I think I'm still thinking which was the 4th one. So yeah, so we had. So we really, but again, I think one of the great things coming back to I'll now from 2020 March. Where I was
rewind to
at 10 crores, I'll rewind to 2018, launch of Postcard. So on Postcard, and like I said, you need to be brave and stupid. So the deal with Mr. Mistry didn't go through.
What was that deal? What was the deal going to be?
Because it was supposed to be equal. And I said, sir, I've kind of done it. I don't want to do it again. And I want to run this my way. Because I know what I want to build. I'm building for the next 30, 40 years. I'm building a phenomenal brand. And he says, but I won't have any issue. I said, I understand. But, when
50% is a lot.
But I told him, I said, when I was growing up, they said that, finally, there's a very nice saying that I heard. Where does a 2-ton gorilla sit in a movie hall? Yeah, where does a 2-ton gorilla sit in a movie hall? And the right answer to that is wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Because he's a 2-ton gorilla. You can't move that guy. Yeah. So you're saying I'm a 2-ton gorilla. No, I'm not saying that. But you're such a big shark that you can be nice till you want to be. And the day you decide not to be nice, I'm done.
Correct.
Yeah. So he says, no, you look like a shark. I said, no, sir, but you don't. But I'm very clear that I'm only looking for minority investments. The second check was by a very good private equity firm, which was a $100 million seed check. I'm talking about stupid right now. How stupid can you be when you're building something?
$100 million seed check.
But it was PE. So 80% they own, 20% I own. So I said, this is a job. It's a job. So he says, no, it's not a job. And this PE fund flew down a very influential global hotelier for dinner, just to convince me, saying, Kapil, just take the bloody check. Your salary is protected, everything is protected, lifestyle stays the same, nothing changes, you don't have to struggle.
And you have 20% of the company.
And you have 20% of the company. It means Oberoi, you did own anything. So it means, what's your problem? So I said, no, I still won't do it.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. So I have the messages, sometimes I read them. So okay. So this private
But they would have valued, interesting, because...
No, they didn't value. They got very pissed for some time. But absolutely amazing guys. We're very, very good friends.
No, but they would have valued your holding at $25 million, which would have been higher than your pre-money, which you would have done for a regular seed round.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get where they came from, but I get
that was one. And the third was maybe one of 5 richest guys in this country. Okay, and that was again a very nice meeting. It was on Diwali. It was at an Italian restaurant called Tonino's. I won't take the name because, but again, yeah. So, and it was a great meeting and he says, I want 30 or 40% of this business and, we can build something great together. And he's really built a phenomenal company. And I said no again. And I said, no, this is my story. I want to play it my way and whatever. So it's
30% is still minority, but
but again,
sizable minority.
But again, if you are among the top 5 guys, shark gorilla story. The shark and the gorilla can be as nice till they want to be nice. Yeah. So VC funds generally seldom take egoistic positions. But when you're dealing with very strong entrepreneurs, and when you're dealing with legacy capital, then you can just have issues. Yeah. So and I'm my kind of a guy. So like I said, boss, this is my weakness. I'll get into an issue. Avoid. कोई बात नहीं, बनाते हैं. लंबा खेलना 20 years खेलना तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, बनाते हैं आराम से. So we started, so that postcard then I met a friend of mine, Bridge, and he said, and I was asking him, I said, do you think I'm really stupid to be saying no to these 3 guys? And he says, what do you want? I said, how much do you need to start? I said, 20-25 CR. He's saying, okay, you want a management company first? I said, yeah, and I want to do one thing, want to do two things together. So I wrote a seed round, and that's about it. And he says, you do what you want to do. I'm nothing to do, nothing. Now they're sitting on a huge multiple X. Because the brand is somewhere else, but that is what it was. No
Bridge
interference, nothing.
Does he live in Dubai?
Yes, he lives in Dubai. Exactly.
I've met him at his house. Does he live in Magnolias when he's in Delhi?
Yes, exactly.
I've gone to his house.
Yeah,
what is the name of the STB?
Small ventures, they used to call it.
I've been to his house.
Yeah.
I've been a tall, fair,
tall
bald guy.
Bald guy. Yeah,
yes,
exactly,
I've met him. I've met him.
Very good guy. So they wrote the first check. They kind of put a vehicle together in Dubai, and they wrote the first check, and they've been hands off completely. Do what you want to do. And he tells me everywhere I hear people just talk about it. I'm so proud. Thank you so much. We're fantastic. We're sitting on a phenomenal multiple today. So it's great. So, and we still control majority, but that's the case even with EazyDiner. We have board majority at Postcard, board majority. We work very hard. We work maybe 18 to 20 hours a day. We love what we do, but we like to control our businesses the way that we want to run. And for over 2 years now, EazyDiner's churned out a net profit every single month and a significant profit in crores every month, every single month. So we've kind of created our own thing. And then Postcard became so Postcard was that we want to build.
What was the thesis of Postcard? Was it like luxury? Because I've never stayed there. I wanted to, but I have not. But I have heard so much about it from so many people around the whole 24/7 breakfast, anytime check-in, check-out. Rahul describes it interestingly. I don't know whether you actually told him this.
I saw that podcast. Right?
Rahul basically, I don't know whether he said it on the podcast or he said it separately. Yeah. He told me that Oberoi was not luxurious enough for Kapil, so he decided to create Postcard.
I think he said it on the podcast.
I was like, cool, that makes it an interesting place to go and stay.
Yeah. No. So we believe that people are seeking a human connection, Shantanu. People are seeking a human connection. Okay. And a human connection changes everything. Let's say you and I are talking for the first time. I've heard of you so much. I've seen you on the channel. You and I are but meeting for the first time. Now a human connection is forged.
Correct.
It'll change our relationship forever. Correct? Yeah. Means whichever way. Yeah, it'll change our relationship because we now know each other as human.
Correct.
We believe that connection is going away. So at the Postcard Hotel, we said, so we looked at 10,000 guest dissatisfaction criteria at the top hotels in the world, whether it was Oberoi, whether it was Mandarin Oriental, everywhere. So we kind of said, let's look at the best chains, Peninsula, Mandarin Oriental, Oberoi, and say, what is it that people don't like when they stay in a hotel? Of course, people love these companies, but what is it that people don't like? And the answer was, people don't like to be told when to check in, when to check out. Yeah, because, I know of a case where there was a complaint with Michael Dell at Oberoi, Gurgaon. We refused a late checkout to Michael Dell. Because you see, Michael Dell, being Michael Dell, walked up quietly in his own unassuming way to the front desk. The bad luck at the hotel, it was a receptionist on her day one.
She had no idea what this is.
She had no idea. The country head of Dell and all the guys of Dell were on their own phones, so Michael Dell was alone in the lobby. And he suddenly realized he had to go in the evening. So he walks up to the desk and he says, can I get a late checkout? The lady quotes the policy. Sir, checkout is till 12 p.m. If you stay till 6 p.m., it's a half day charge. If it's post 6 p.m., it's a full day charge. Okay. And finally, I got a call from the country head saying, Kapil, you should have asked us anything. What did you have to say? Now he's saying he wants to check out because he wants to set an example. Michael Dell is very particular about setting examples.
He's worth $75 billion.
Yeah, okay, but he sets an example. So then, the point was, we said Michael Dell was refused a late checkout. And then, the Dell India head called me and said, yaar, you could have charged us more. Why was Michael Dell refused? Yaar, matlab, ek kamre ke liye itna ho gaya ki he's saying change the town hall timing and all. Just because Michael is one somebody who Mr. Dell wants to set an example. So he said, yaar, if Michael Dell couldn't get a early check-in and check-out, what a big problem it is, yeah? So one of the big things that when we looked at 10,000 comments across all the top hotels, when we said, one was people didn't like to be told when they should check in, when they should check out. And it's getting worse now. Earlier on, when I started my hotel career, check-in, check-out time was 12 noon. Check-in time? Okay. Then the hotels guy said, no, but we need 2 hours to turn around the rooms. Chalo ji. It became 12 to 2.
Yeah.
Now, I just booked a hotel in Europe for my daughter, and it's 10 a.m. check-in and 4 p.m. check-out. Sorry, 10 a.m. check-out and 4 p.m. check-in. 6 hours.
Crazy.
It's going totally haywire.
Correct.
So our point was, one, the customer was not given this control. The second part that really came through was that when people were on a holiday, they couldn't be on a clock. So hotels are becoming like schools.
Yeah.
Your class starts at 10:30.
Yeah.
Your class finishes at 11:30.
Great stress.
So 10:30, breakfast gets over. I remember we were on a family holiday, okay, and my family's telling me, get up. We have to go. The breakfast will get over at 10:30. And I'm saying, but guys, in case you've just forgotten, I'm the president of the company. Yeah. I can hold it because I can at least go and say, I want to see the buffet, if nothing else. Okay. So there are illegal hacks to do it, yeah. Just relax. Definitely you guys will get breakfast today.
Yeah.
Okay. And the third was that people always had this connotation that alcohol is the wrong thing. It kind of comes ingrained within us and whatever. That, if you're in Europe and you go out for lunch, everybody will have a glass of wine.
Correct.
And when you're on a holiday, why can't you drink in the afternoon? Why do hotel welcome drinks have to be dirty iced teas or watermelon juice diluted to a different level? Okay.
Agree.
And there's another story there. I remember, when I started my career, we used to be at the Oberoi, Bangalore. And the Oberoi, Bangalore, we had a very good general manager who wanted to always keep the costs in check. And black grapes were very cheap in Bangalore. So he would take these black grapes, boil it, okay, and means the kitchen would boil it and then bottle it and keep it in the walk-in. So our welcome drink cost really came down to quite a low level. It was an okay drink. But our guests used to hate it. So I remember as a lobby manager one day, and the guest just told me, who's the lobby manager? I said, sir, I am just taking your call. He said, can you come up and see me, please? I said, sure, sir, I'll be there. And when I went to see him, he says, why don't you have this welcome drink? I said, no, because I knew how it was made. So I said, no, sir, it's okay. I don't drink grape juice. He said, no, you should really have it. Because it's so horrible and you guys keep on serving this. I've come here so many times. So just to give an example, kind of stayed with me.
Especially when you were on 2 garlic naan and butter chicken every night.
So this kind of stayed with me. And so did the Michael Dell story. And so I said, we need to create a brand where the hotel curates for the customer. The customer does not need to curate for the hotel. So 3 things we identified. So one was the Postcard had a product description. So let's think about our first 3 hotels opened in Goa. So because I knew that there was always enough media interest in what I do, because like you said, it's a sexy job. So I knew I would get a full press conference, which I did when I announced the brand. So we only put an aeroplane on the invitation and said, we invite you. And we invite you to a champagne lunch, which we're going to drink. Okay, not that we invite you to a lunch and give you watermelon juice. Okay, and so we did that, and everybody thought I was going to do an airline because we had a plane on it. But the plane was, because that's the Postcard logo. If you see the Postcard logo, there's a plane on it. So everybody thought we were going to do an airline. We said, no, it's a hotel company, and we just want to get the romance of travel back. When travel used to be exciting and fun, and people used to look forward to it, not get away with it. And ruined it. So we thought we'll start with here. And we'll do 3 hotels on one day because I knew the media was going to ask me a question. But when you were president of the Oberoi, how many hotels did you open? And I would say 3. They said, if you did 5 in 3 years, how are you ever going to do 50 in 5 years that you want to do? So I said, on day 1 only, guys, you told me in 5 years I did 3, I've opened 3. So on the first day, which is 18 December, we opened 3 hotels. Now, we were working with them since April, May. I was out of the company on the 4th of February was my farewell. 2018, and then between Feb and March, we had already done enough visits to identify.
It's crazy how you were running EazyDiner and doing like 0 to 1 on Postcard. It's insane.
So it was, but I always wanted to create a very different brand, and we wanted to create the foremost hotel luxury brand in the world. We are playing for the world. We're not playing to be India's best hotel company. We are playing for it to be the world's best hotel company. Time will tell if we get there or we don't get there, but definitely time will maybe stand testament to our, to just our dream that we want to build. And that's the whole idea. And some milestones really coming through, really, if you really think about it, that Booking.com, which is like an OTA where you book your reservations, on Booking.com, only when you have booked a room and you're staying, are you allowed to post a review. It's called a verified review. That means you just can't post it. Yeah. Like on TripAdvisor, which is also very, very good, you can still post a review if you haven't stayed. Yeah. They have no ways to check. Yeah. On Booking.com, we got a call last year that we were the highest ranked chain in the world with a chain score of 9.6. Some of the global hotel companies are at 9.4, 9.3. I think Four Seasons is 9.4. I think so. I don't know their exact
9.4 is a very high.
Very high score. But our average chain score is 9.6, which is the highest in the world for any chain with over 5 hotels. That's what we were told. which I think is huge because we're still a new company. We've just been around for 5 years, but I think we've instilled the right values, and that is why the brand, in my own personal opinion, punches way above its weight. I still think we have a lot to do, but in the next 18 months, you will see 10 new hotels from the ground up being built. So we're not rebranding, we are actually building. And nobody's actually building in this country. What people are doing is ugly buildings and putting a hotel logo on top of it. What we are trying to do is we're trying to build. And we would love if everybody in India starts building and starts celebrating our architecture and our design and even our food. I'll give you an example. So we have a hotel in Gir, and there are close to now between 700 to 1,000 lions in Gir. Yeah. So if you are at the hotel, you'll hear the lions roaring if you're at the hotel. But I tell people, so a lot of people ask me, how do you get to Gir? Nobody knew. Okay. Then are there lions in Gir? Oh, we didn't know this also. Okay, great, boss, my son is in class 5, but they taught him in class 3 that there are lions in Gir. Okay, so but over the years, nobody's gone, so everybody's forgotten. And lions are a very majestic animal. So again, but I tell people, you want to go to Gir for the experience of seeing a lion up close like this, but also go to Gir for the food. And I always ask people, what food do you think is in Gujarat? People say the Gujarati thali. Great. So day 1, have the Gujarati thali. Day 2, Gir, the next district is Junagadh. Now Junagadh was the Nawab of Junagadh. Yeah. So it's the amazing, great royal feast of Junagadh. So have that. Yeah. A lot of Muslim influence, beautiful, absolutely amazing rich food. Yeah. So the Nawab of Junagadh food. Yeah. Third day, the Parsis actually came into India through Saurashtra. Now they settled more in Mumbai, but they came through Saurashtra. So the Parsi influence on the cuisine is so high. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is the best seafood in India is at the coast of Veeraval. It's nowhere else. It's on the coast of Veeraval, and it is so good that they don't even sell in India. Most of it gets exported to Japan because it's that high quality. And the Japanese don't take poor quality anyway. So if it's that high quality, so there are 4 days just to eat. So I tell people, go to our hotels to eat. That's the thing. So that became the product philosophy of the Postcard Hotel. So even today at the Postcard Monday Hall in Kochi, I have 2 ladies who come from 9 to 6 who are housewives who cook with 5-star hotel chefs in making sure the food is authentic, fresh, sustainable, mostly organic. Because I also believe, coming from the same culture of 5-star hotel chefs, that 5-star hotel chefs ruin food. Yeah, they just make it factory, they make it institutional. So the whole point is India is, a kaleidoscope of flavors. We need to get that back. And we need to be proud of our design, and we need to be proud of our cuisine. So at the Postcard Hotel, we don't serve croissants. That kind of became a very viral phase. And I said, Air India also serves a croissant. But the richest man in India doesn't eat a croissant when he wakes up because the croissant is not an Indian bread. It's a French bread.
Correct.
So the Postcard Hotel will definitely serve croissants when it goes to Pondicherry.
Correct.
Because that's the bread of the region there. But otherwise, India has 128 indigenous varieties of breads. From the Pui in Goa to the Mangalore bun in Mangalore. Let's celebrate those. So every single Postcard Hotel celebrates the cuisine, the art, design, architecture, the food of the destination. That's product disruption. On the service side, no check-in time, no check-out time. You come when you want, you go when you want.
That's insane.
And a lot of people ask me at the press conference, but don't you think it'll be gamed? And my point was, who are we catering to? We're catering to the highest end of the market.
They won't have the time.
They don't have the time to game. Well, I'm going to game it like this, yeah? The second thing is anytime
Even
breakfast.
if they did.
The brand engagement is fantastic. The brand engagement is fantastic. So, on the anytime breakfast, I asked my guys, I said, so, we have a percentage in hotels. We tell them that let's say if you're making 10,000 from a hotel room, then 30% of it or 35% of it should come from food and beverage. So our hotels were not meeting those numbers. So I got on a call with my resort manager and said, guys, you're not selling the food story well enough. The people are going out to eat. And everybody said, no. People are having breakfast at 12, 12:30. So we are missing the lunch hour. So the entire lunch revenue is going because it's anytime breakfast. So people have a cup of coffee, then they lounge around. And I told them, I said, but that's great, no? That's brand engagement.
Yeah.
So that means they're engaging with your brand. The next time when they go to any of the established hotels, chains, and they'll say, God, Postcard was absolutely amazing. So let's make a cult of people who love Postcard. That was the whole idea behind Postcard. So that was the second. And the third is, if you walk into Goa, what's the local drink of Goa? Feni. But people say Feni smells. No, it doesn't. If you do a very nice double distilled Feni, it's fantastic. We do a nice dandeli drink with it. In Sri Lanka, we do passion fruit and arak. In Bhutan, we do red rice beer. So the alcohol inspired from the region, unlimited. Drink as many as you want when you check in. So you can have 10 cocktails on check-in because you are on a holiday and there are nobody giving you checks to sign. Just drink as much as you want. Have a great time. Enjoy. Welcome to the Postcard Hotel. That's our service disruption. That's what we do on a service level. Then comes distribution, where we look at distribution in a different way, because again, EazyDiner taught us that 51% of all digital transactions in this country, maybe now that number is changing, maybe it's 40%, but still a significant high number, happen by those 10 crore credit cards which are issued in this country, 10 or 12 crores. Unique, I think there are 5 crore credit card holders. Those guys run 40 to 50% of all the high-end business. That's the TG for the Postcard hotel. Yeah, and in the upper tier there. Let's focus on them. So we go direct to them and they do direct emailers for us and direct offers there. So you'll see the Postcard hotel everywhere there. Like, give you an example, Singapore Airlines, which is maybe one of the finest airlines in the world, has only one hotel partner in India that I know of, and that's the Postcard hotel. Maybe they have others. I haven't seen any mailers or whatever. But yeah, so, but the whole point is the Postcard hotel is still a very, very small player. But now it'll open in the tea states of Darang in Assam. It'll open in Kana. It'll open in Ranthambore. It's opening in Chikmagalur, coffee states. We haven't celebrated our coffee states. Look at what South America does such a great job of celebrating coffee states. Sri Lanka owns tea with the Ceylon tea trails and everything and all, Dilma and all. Which Indian tea brand sells even half of the image that Dilma has? And how many tea brands from here, including Tata Tea and all, sell at Harrods, for example, when tea is being sold? Actually, single growers from Assam don't even sell in India, because what you get in India is 9-month-old institutional tea, all packaged. That's why your red label tastes the same 10 years later, although it's a fantastic taste and I drink it too sometimes. But the very high quality tea is not sold in India, or is seldom sold in India. Maybe it's sold in India, but very seldom. So we believe, so we've created our own range of Merchant of the East tea. So we're doing a lot of things. We're trying to do, if I may say, a 0 to 1 on the entire hospitality landscape. We want you to take the brand home. We want to open a hotel. We will actually open a new hotel every 3 months for the next 7 years, so that you get to see a new destination. From the upper Himalayas, where you need 1 day to acclimatize, to Assam, to Chitwan in Nepal, to Kana, Ranthambore, Pench, Tadoba.
But I think about this. I think about, like, this is a product for a very small top tier, which probably has a large chunk of the spending, which is so different from the Oyo, for example, which was completely leased out, small rooms, sub 1,000 rupees a room night, and that became like the big thing. But this is, you're building it on your own, and you're kind of saying, Oberoi is not luxury enough, and they're going to take it.
We're saying Oberoi is luxury also, very good. But what we're building is global. So that's what we're saying. So we're building the world's best. So we're saying everybody's doing a great job in India. Everybody's doing a great job globally. Our path is different. And we really don't know what your path is today. But our path to building it is totally different. We're kind of creating icons out of hotels. And Shantanu, on any consumer business for that matter, I always tell people that put 2 axes. Okay, so you need to define it very clearly. And that was a great conversation I think I had with Tribo founders as well as Oyo founders. Yeah. And where I told them, I said, guys, what is it that a budget customer wants? Okay, he doesn't want to be part of the largest hotel company in the world. Okay, he doesn't want to be saying you're the fastest growing or you've got great investors.
Yeah.
Today I get a lot of emails and we say we are an Excel, this back company. It means as a customer, I don't want to know who's back to you. That's okay. Maybe that's validation. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. What are you standing for? So if you're doing a budget hotel, you should be looking at only 2 things, which is hygiene, kamara mera saaf hona chahiye, and security, mera saman nahi chori hona chahiye.
Correct.
I don't want to know if you have 55 hotels in Bangladesh. You have 1 which is clean, I will seek you out. Because that's what I need. I'm a trader from Moradabad. I come to sell my brass utensils every Saturday. मेरे को 1000 रुपए में कमरा चाहिए जो साफ हो और मेरा सामान न चोरी हो. बस ये 2 चीजें चाहिए. That's your basic need. So I classify hotels into 5 steps. Yeah. Step 1 is commodity. That means give me a good bed, give me a air conditioner or a cooler or a fan which is comfortable. So give me comfort. Yeah.
And clean bathroom.
Clean bathroom. So I can do 2 lakh rooms there, 5 lakh rooms there. Commodity. Build as many as you want. So we got this building, yeah, convert into 500 rooms. That's commodity. Second step of hotels is product. Great hotel. अच्छा लग रहा है देखने से. Service may or may not work, non-branded, don't know who runs it, don't know what the owners want to do. But there are some very beautiful hotels in India done by owners as a passion, People have 2 dreams, I believe. They all want to own a cafe and all want to run a boutique hotel. Correct. So they keep on playing around with their dreams, yeah. So that's 2. Okay. The third is where all luxury hotel comes in. Service. So AC works, bed works, great, looks great, service works. That's great. Brand Chesky comes and says, that's all great, but you're not living like a local. Yeah. So if you're in Paris, you open the window, you should see the Eiffel Tower. That's how you need to live. Yeah. So that inspires the pui bread in Goa. Don't have croissant, have pui. It's fantastic. Yeah. Or have the Bangalore bun, or have the Fenny Dandeli. It's amazing. Yeah. So brand Chesky experiential. So brand Chesky said experiential. So suddenly all brands realize, अरे यार ये ब्रांड चेस्की बड़ा स्मार्ट आदमी है, इसने $100 billion की कंपनी बना ली, हम पिछले 100 साल से लगे में 15 billion, 16 billion वही बना के रह गए. He is now put all the hotel companies put together, brand चेस्की is alone, इसने बना ली और एक ही word पे experiential. So now every single brand that you speak about, he says I'm an experiential hotel brand. वो चला 4 कमरे रहा है कहीं पे घर के अंदर गुड़गांव में, वो कह रहा है मैं experiential. गुड़गांव में क्या experience है except traffic jams? ये बढ़ूं. Okay, so I think sub in which word copy kar le experiential. So experiential is the fourth pillar, very important pillar, very much abused today, but it is the fourth pillar. But the final pillar is transformation. So on a premium axis where I say this is the premium that you can get and this is the differentiation you have, transformational is the most difficult to replicate because no matter how much capital you have, you cannot do transformational hospitality. So what is transformational?
What is that?
Great question. Transformational is a hotel stay that stays with you much after you've checked out. Let me give you an example. At the Postcard on the Arabian Sea, which is 0 meters from the sea, we will, on an experience, take you out into the ocean at 5 o'clock in the morning on a boat, only 2 of you, and there's another boat, just making sure that they serve the breakfast to you and your partner on the boat and leave. Okay. So 10 years later, I meet you and I say, Shantanu, tell me which was the best breakfast you've ever had in your life. You're never going to talk about the spread because you've never been left alone on a boat with your partner in the middle of the Arabian Sea, okay, with dolphins swimming around. If you're lucky, you're seeing them in the morning, you can easily spot them, okay, and you'll say, that's the best breakfast I had. The second or the third best breakfast I had was when I was sitting on the beach and having it, but this time not on the beach, I was in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, that's called transformative experiences. When you are in gear, watching the lion and then enjoying the 3 different kind of cuisines, it'll stay with you 5 years later when I talk about it. And that's why if you go through Postcard TripAdvisor or postcardbooking.com reviews, that's the game. The only criteria we, after you've checked out, look at is a comment transformational or not? Because transformation is very difficult to replicate. It's the highest level of differentiation. How do you do it? And very difficult. So you may have oodles of capital, but your only chance at taking a postcard shot is that, first of all, it takes 4 years to build a hotel. I had an absolutely interesting conversation with the owner of a top airline in this country. And he said to me that your business is very difficult because half the guys who own hotels don't want to sell it because it's an ego asset for them. And second, it takes 4 years to build. But if I have to get 100 planes, I can get them on lease in a much shorter period of time, paint them into my colors and fit them and get them here. Not more difficult now, but he said this to me like 5-6 years back. So it's a much more difficult business. So first of all, you need to have capital. 2, you may not get the sites again. There are licenses are less and less. Beautiful sites are lesser and lesser. There are huge restrictions. So you need to get the sites, you need to construct, you need to make, and then you need to get your service DNA totally correct, which comes from people. Now, what do you do with your people is a very important part to this transformational experience. So very simple one-line definition, stays which stay with you many years after you've checked out. If you've delivered that, you are sitting on the biggest moat ever in your life.
They're hard to do, right?
They're hard to do. They're hard to replicate.
I'm actually thinking about the last time I actually experienced a hotel experience which stayed with me long enough. Yeah. They're not a lot.
You just said you like Bombay Villas, so something stayed with you. That's why you said I love Bombay Villas. So something stayed with you. Yeah. Great GM, Ratna is maybe one of the finest GMs in the country. Yeah. So she's running there. So people make all the difference. In our business, it's all about the people. It's how they treat you.
Yeah.
So people make all the difference. So your team selection, your team training, and so I always tell my teams that never say no to a guest. You can only say no at the Postcard hotel.
Very hard to do, by the way.
Yeah. So you can only say no for 3 things. If it is immoral, if it is unethical, or if it is illegal. Get me drugs. I want to do drugs. Runners. Illegal. Can't do it. Okay. I want to do something which is not correct. It's immoral. Can't do it. Okay. Can you get me this smuggled in or whatever? It's unethical. You can't do it. So if it's not immoral, unethical, or illegal, always offer an alternative. So you have to give an alternative. I'm sorry, sir, the hotel is sold out and this, what is alternative? What are you going to do for me? So a lot of people also ask me that, what if, you're full and, Shantanu walks in, it's anytime check-in. Now Shantanu is coming at 3 p.m., all the rooms are occupied. What are you going to do? Because it's anytime check-in. Shantanu walks in at 8 a.m. in the morning and now he needs his room, but all the rooms are occupied. So
because anytime checkout also.
Anytime checkout also, yeah. So we map it very well. But what we would do in that particular cases, we would have already reached out to Shantanu one day earlier and said, we're really sorry, Shantanu, this is what's happening tomorrow. Would you like to come a day later? Most likely Shantanu would say no because his tickets are booked, until he's driving to the destination. Yeah. And he'll say, listen, I'll come in. The thing that we do is from the time you come in to the time you get the room, because we have not fulfilled a service guarantee to you, everything is on the house. Food, alcohol, spa, everything is on the house. But no other hotel does that. Every other hotel will quote the roll book to you and say, it's 8 a.m., sir. Check-in time is 2 p.m. Sit at the lobby.
Yeah.
My Postcard will say, I'm really sorry. Really sorry this happened. Really apologize. But sir, you know what? The entire hotel is here. Do you need a car to take you somewhere? Lunch? Want a spa treatment? All on the house, sir, till you get your room. Enjoy as much as you like. So it's there are always things which will go wrong. How do you handle that? How do you empower your people? How do you address that? I think are key to that.
And the economics fit because people will recognize this immediately and pay you a premium for it the next time they stay.
Yeah, even in that stay means on a per room rate basis, it's not a right comparison because we have lesser rooms right now open. But if you really look at it on a per room basis, our average room rates are double that of any other brand in this country, or exactly double. Our guest satisfaction is the highest. Our room rates are double, and we are profitable at a company level at the Postcard Hotel. Totally, not EBITDA minus this and all. No, it's total profit, including the cost of a bottle of water at the corporate office, everything included, including corporate expenses. I don't get the same fancy salary I get at the Oberoi, but
you own equity you now own equity in the company.
I own equity in the company in a very, very big way. Actually, and all team members do too. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible.
Sure.
Talk about the people. I think that's, and I love stories of operators who have been so successful in their operating careers, and then who become entrepreneurs. I think they have like 100 people celebrate this 23-year-old founder and the whole Mark Zuckerberg stereotype. I think the chance of success is much lesser compared to, like, for example, my father. I was telling Aditya also, he spent almost 15 years at TCS, then a few years in a couple of IT companies in the US. Then he was CEO of Tech Mahindra. Then at 50, he started up a tech company out of Pune in the US.
What is it called?
It was called Mojo Networks. They sold it to Arista. So he started in 2002 and he sold it in 2019. Right? He was 65 when he sold it. And he now runs marathons and does angel investing. And all his, he's on the board of IIT Bombay. All his passion projects, right? But I saw, and then his best friend who sits on my board, Ravi Nigam, who was at Pepsi in his first job, then was at HUL. And HUL had bought a listed company called Tasty Bite. And then, like many acquisitions, it did not work out, didn't get attention, was a stepchild in the organization. Ravi and a few more partners who were at HUL did a management buyout of Tasty Bite. Ran it from 95, 96 and sold it to Mars in 2018 or 2019.
Wow.
And today they're both in their 60s. And I think that the value of people who are operators and then who become entrepreneurs is just so high. And I see that, like, the kind of things you speak about, this is like decades of experience and insight, which, younger founders who don't have the experience will just not have. I think about this in consumer. And I just feel like the richness of insight, whether it's on retail or whether it's on, product design, or whether it's on marketing and brand, people with experience know it. Like, they've done it 10 times before. They have a sense for what's going to work, what's not going to work. And I love that you have flipped the business model completely on end.
Yeah.
To say, it is so inspiring to see a service business which is profitable, which is completely consumer backed. Which is, I'll study 10,000 comments, see what is it the consumers don't like, solve for that, and then deliver in It's truly fascinating.
No,
Kapil,
it's just
truly
it's just a short version of it. There's a lot of research.
I'm sure.
For 2 years, in my last 2 years, I was just thinking, how would a brand stand out? Because, a lot of people told me, I remember a lot of VCs talking to us on EazyDiner and saying to me that, but you got Swiggy and Zomato. What if they decide to come into eating out? And I would give the Google answer. What if Google decides to come into eating out? Incidentally, Google, when you go into Google search and you should look for a restaurant, we were their first global partners on Google search, converting into a reservation globally. Number one, they piloted with us in India. But again, so just to answer that, and I always tell them, at the end of the day, Zomato and Swiggy till recently were losing tons of money.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I was competing in hotels, all these guys are phenomenally rich balance sheets.
Yeah.
They've been making profits for decades and decades. So these guys, so I said, if I don't get scared there, why will I get scared here? These guys can do anything they'd like here.
Yeah.
But at least I know they have some level to burning. Those guys have no level to burning. They can start opening hotels next to me, surrounding in the 4 hotels, every single place that they want to. But again, I think once you are driven, if you're passionate about what you're building, you will build. I read something very beautiful which said, "Let the work be your win." Yeah, which is I think Jeffrey Sanfield, and that's it. So every day I come to work, I feel like we've won. I come with the same enthusiasm. So like I'm full on the house, always winning. I read it was beautiful. I think I was sharing with somebody. And I said, I never feel like it's work. So even today at my age, at 10 p.m. every night, there will be a Zoom call with the Postcard hotel sales team because it's a new brand. It's disrupting legacy brands. There will be a 20 to 30 minute call that I would do at 10 p.m. every night on Zoom to say, what's happening in market? What are people saying? Okay, what are the challenges you're encountering in sales? Because we're kind of building a new narrative. When you're building a new narrative, it needs something. But, even at 10 p.m., it doesn't feel like work. No, it's not that if I'm out, then I'm not taking the call. But just absolutely, I'm like winning every day at both EazyDiner and Postcard hotels. So we got a very good acquisition offer for EazyDiner, which we kind of turned down because we said, listen, boss, it's $18 billion. Nobody's built an $18 billion business. We'll build it. So बना पाएंगे नहीं बना पाएंगे देखा जाएगा बट बनाएंगे कोशिश जरूर करेंगे हम क्यों बेचें हम बेच के क्या करेंगे so I've already lived a great lifestyle personally okay it doesn't get better than that okay I'm very happy I still live very well so what will I sell it and do so let's run it बनाते हैं और बनाते जाते हैं I think because I believe the next 10 years are about consumer service so even on Twitter and we see it 1 lakh diners on a good day like I was saying if you message me ever on Twitter and that kind of became very viral that if you had a complaint on EazyDiner or whatever, I will always respond to you. I will even today. If you say that in Jaipur I did not get my table, I will respond to you, and somebody will call you from EazyDiner because we never outsource any service. We kind of run a full concierge service center there. So I think that'll always happen. And at the end of the day, Shantanu, I think it all comes down to people. So one of the things I did, and at Oberoi when I ran Oberoi, I never owned any shares. That is how it was structured. Not that I asked for it and they didn't give. I just didn't ask for it. And I came from a traditional background. So it's like, okay, great salary, fantastic. How does it matter? Yeah. And then I saw everybody was, getting stocks and whatever and all. So I said, when we started EazyDiner, we said everybody will own stock, including the coffee boy in the office. Okay. And we did a first employee stock option buyback right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But everybody got money. So, of course, the CEO made more. And I'm not the CEO of EazyDiner. It's a very nice guy called Sachin. I have 3 co-founders at EazyDiner. I have 3 co-founders at Postcard Hotel. So, it should never happen that it's about me. Okay. It's the 3 there and 3 here. Prakhar, Sachin and Ahana at EazyDiner. Akanksha, Raman and Anirudh at Postcard Hotel. Of course, I have more stakes than them. But they are co-founders. They've been there and they run the business in the way they want to. Of course, means we're always talking, chatting, discussing. But everybody has stock. So at EazyDiner, everybody has stock. On Postcard, because different companies slightly complicated, we are rolling out the employee stock option plan. But just to give you an idea, EazyDiner now 8% of equity. Last valuation is just north of 1,000 crores now. 8% is owned by employees. And Postcard, we've just got a board approval. Now 9% of Postcard equity, which is slightly even higher than EazyDiner now on valuation, is owned by employees. So that
is outstanding.
So we learned from it that it's absolutely no way. But again, I believe that will foster a level of loyalty, of staying on, or building something together because it's very tough to build. So when COVID happened, we did one rule. We were poor. We had 10 crores, which we got in December, if you remember.
And Postcard, what about Postcard at that time? What happened to Postcard during COVID?
Postcard had the money. Postcard had just opened. Postcard had the money. So not a problem. Postcard was in a much better space. So 3 months it shut down. That's okay. So we did a 50% pay cut at Postcard, 75% at EazyDiner. One rule, we will not lay off anybody. Everybody dies together. So 75% pay cut at EazyDiner because we didn't know if the tech company would ever come back. Postcard actually had its best year after it opened because it was booked out and like how? I felt like I was back at Oberoi. Okay, means everybody in this country would want to know. I think Postcard became famous because of COVID really. Because I think the entire Bollywood industry kind of descended on it, paying top dollar rates and posting on Instagram like, imagine I'd hired 15 Bollywood top A-level stars to start posting on Instagram every day. It was like crazy. It was like my team's telling that, sir, I've never seen so many of them together. And they were like coming one after another, one after. So Postcard got the richest people in India. The brand in COVID actually did 55% over the pre-COVID year. While everybody tanked 75% because it was packed. There was like no rooms available. Even I couldn't go. There are no rooms. Why are you coming? Stay. Come for an inspection later. So we had to time and saying, okay, these 2 days I can come. Yeah, you can come these 2 days. Come post 6 p.m. So there was no
you don't get any time check-in.
I know. Like they were packed. They were like months they were packed. So we actually, so Postcard really went to a different trajectory. EazyDiner had one more scare. 2020-21, we were down to 7 crores in our account and Zomato had IPO'd and we're like, look at the money these guys have and everything. And then I think we just launched payments and it turned around and we scaled up payments 50 times in 23 months. And then the company is being totally different. It's an animal of a company. EazyDiner is an animal company. I always say them, I said, if I kind of step down and start competing against you, they'll kill me also. It's because they have seen death. So they are fearless.
Crazy resilience.
Yeah. They're fearless. They just don't care. It's like a company which just doesn't care. It doesn't think anything is competition. The DNA is totally killer. They can fight it out. They're like, it's a different company. It's a very, very, I think hardened by circumstances. It's very, very, but in a way, coming from the people philosophy, it would also, the first 6 or 7 times, and now I've run a big business, means I became an entrepreneur after running a big business. The first 6-7 times when I got to know at EazyDiner, finally 35 people did. One day I'll make that list public to anybody listening to this podcast. One day that list will go public with comments on what I thought about them also. Because some of them were really good even when they said no. But at the Postcard Hotel when I was building, and I've said no to the richest guys in this country, and I've said no to very solid private equity investors. I need to build a business where I never have to look for external capital. So Postcard, we structured in a way in an operating company and an asset company that we are never dependent on capital, that we never have to go to a VC fund to ever raise money. They are coming to us, talking to us. We are very grateful. But we have never made a pitch for the Postcard Hotel ever to anyone. No angel, no VC fund. If one of my friends called me up and said, Kapil, I really want to come in. I'm hurt that you didn't tell me. I said, I never made a call to anybody to invest. They called and said, Kapil, I believe you're doing this. We want to be a part of it. Please write in. Okay. So we kept a rule and we learned from EazyDiners from that. And we said, we'll never get into a situation like that ever again. We were surprised once. We'll never be surprised again. So that's why a lot of focus on profitability, both the companies in a significant way. And the idea is to IPO both of them, Shantanu. Means I would think that day the job will be really done. If they are able to IPO both of them.
It's amazing. But, to come from the Oberoi and the Taj lineage, right, in a way. But we spoke about this when we had to do the battery change. It's very surprising that large companies, for example, Asian Paints is a good example, right? More than half the company is owned by the promoters. Even today, it's a public company. That company now does the top line of maybe 35,000 crores. 10, 12 years
back. The
back.
Adani family,
Adani, I think, Adani and I think a couple of Choksies. And so I think 5,000-6,000. At one point, I think Marico, Dabur, Britannia, Godrej, Asian Paints were similar sized businesses broadly. Today, Asian Paints is now 35,000 crores. The rest of them are maybe at 10, 12,000 crores. And all of that has been done by professional management and a professional company. And that company trades at like 7 times revenue, right? So 30,000 crores times 7, like 2 lakh crores of value has been created. I don't know how much of that percolates down to the people who are actually creating it. And it amazes me as to how, I don't know what the word for it is, but it doesn't seem legitimately fair or equitable in a way, which is surprises me when you tell me that, I left the Oberoi group and you must think it's a listed company. It's very obvious, the public, what you did there. That even at the senior most levels, equity sharing or equity upsides are not.
That is endemic of the industry. And the second big challenge to the industry is, one, nobody's building great hotels. Two is there is no talent. Because you juice the talent so much, the talent is not there anymore. I'll give you a real example. So when I appeared for my hotel management exam, although I didn't want to do it, I thought the seats were, I think, 2,000. I think that year, 30 or 40,000 people sat for the exam. This year, the seats were, 10,000, but I think only 6,000 people sat for the exam. Everybody got in. There's nobody applying for hotel management because you've juiced the system so much. You've misused the system so much. You've not invested in talent. Nobody wants to work 18 hours, make a shitty salary and go. It's much better. Today, when Postcard and EazyDiner go to the same campus for interviews, more people appear for EazyDiner than Postcard. Because it's long hours, it's hard work and whatever. So you have to constantly educate that Postcard is not your regular employer. Yeah, we look at it very differently. Means I saw a tweet by Rajesh Sahani recently where he said that at a hotel, the stipend was 2,500 rupees. But that's the truth. Most of the company pay an industry stipend of making people work for 14 hours at 2,500 rupees a month.
What?
Yeah, and that's a mandatory training, so the poor guys have to do it. But what happens is after that training, so let me give you an example, 6,000 people or 7,000 people, 10,000 seats, and out of this 7,000 people, only 5% people want to go into hotels. So it's no longer a great career for anybody. So what's going to happen is you're slowly going to start coming down in service levels because the quality of people who make a great hotel will start coming down. Your rates in India are going up. This is the best year for hotels and rates are as good as Europe in a lot of cases. So you have a quality and a price mismatch. You're not building great hotels. So again, we have already moved to our original plank of what I call mediocrity in this country. We love mediocrity. Let it be. It's okay. चलता है, चलेगा. मेरा तो काम टाइम निकल गया. जो next आएगा वो संभालेगा. That's
crazy. That's a ticking time bomb, by the way.
It's a ticking time bomb in the hospitality business. And the biggest ticking time bomb is that nobody's applying. It's a public information. Ask National Council. That 20 years back, how many people are applying, how many seats you have. Today, how many seats you have, how many people are applying. So it's like maybe the seats have gone up and the applicants are the same. No, applicants have dropped. And the seats have gone up. Nobody wants to do hotel management. And for the people who are doing hotel management, please look at post-campus placements. Less than 5% people are actually opting to be in hotels.
I've noticed this. So, for example, recently I went to a hotel which I have heard so much about. And it is like people say it's life-changing and it's beautiful and this and that. And I went there for 3 days last month. I could not believe.
You were looking for the life-changing moment.
Yeah, it was the staff they were loud, they were not well-groomed, they were just, and I just couldn't believe this is the Khyber in Srinagar.
In Srinagar, Gulmarg. Very nice.
Great property, but like the staff was just very undervalued.
So getting talent is going to be a very, very big problem here because you're not solved for talent. You're saying we're solving for talent. Yeah. So we're getting down to the details that I think the best team accommodation in the country. Until now, Postcard's not done a great job of team accommodation, really. We are getting there.
What is team accommodation?
Where does a team stay? So, for example, if you're in Kana, you're in the forest. You're 4 hours away from a major city. Where do you stay? So, the team accommodation in Kana is going to be as good as a good 4-star hotel. That's what we're trying to do, even in Ranthambore. So, our point is, let's ace the team accommodation game.
And they stay with family or they usually stay?
If you're married, you can stay with family. Over a supervisory level, you can stay with family. You can get your wife along and stay. But again, so that's how. So, you've got to change the game at every single level. Because if you get top talent, and when they talk to you, so in a lot of cases, means I'll not name it, but my resort managers know so many high-profile people that even I've looked up to and know them directly on a one-to-one basis because they're best friends.
That is so cool.
But that's really cool. So this is the super A++ Bollywood celebrity. Okay. And I'm just talking to my resort manager and I said, really, that good for a friend of yours? And he says, yeah, this is Goa. So I said, okay, tell him to do an Instagram post from the Postcard Hotel. He said, okay. 30 minutes later,
It's done.
It's done. And I'm telling him, but how did you do it? He's saying, sir, because we're friends. I said, what do you mean you're friends? This guy is God, man. Like a mob. If he comes again, there was nearly a riot when he came last time.
Really?
So he said, but sir, we are friends. If he needs anything in Goa, he calls me. So I do everything for him in Goa. If anything is needed, right around the hotel, pick up this, get this dropped. If somebody's coming to the hotel, put the check on me. So, I do that. We're very good friends. And I'm there to service him all the time. So I requested him, sir, this is a request from myself. He says, of course for you, I'd do anything. And here it is. So, and that's absolutely amazing because it's so beautiful. Because even I would be very awed if speaking to a celebrity of that stature, because he's a very solid celebrity and somebody doing some great work. But here he is, and they're like talking. But we've been able to, I'm very happy it's not about celebrities, it's all about all our guests, really. Because I believe every single guest walking into a Postcard hotel is a celebrity for us. And all our guests are able to engage. So one of the big standards we have, Shantanu, when you stay with us, you will see the resort manager does not have to send you an email, but he needs to send you a WhatsApp because that's what people read.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't read emails when they're going on holiday. So he has to send you and say, this is my name. I know you're coming late in the night. I'm sending you the menu. Do you want to order anything? Anything you need in Goa or anything you need in Gaul or anything you need in Bhutan, let me know. I'll have it arranged for you before you come in. So people have things like, I'm going to come in with a small kid and this and saying, no problem. What do they want to eat? I'll get them toys. Do they like something? I'll get it. So we encourage our resort managers to talk to our guests because human connection will solve the world. And Brian Chesky says it very beautifully. He's saying it's not the idea of people discovering places, but it's the idea of people discovering each other, which is transformational in a way. And that's what Airbnb was about, host and the guest.
Yeah.
Such a disruptive idea, the host and the guest, really. Yeah. And that's what Postcard aspires to do in a much more luxurious fashion.
Oh, this has been such a fascinating conversation. I think for people watching, I think the clarity of thought on building a business, the focus on people, using all the years of experience into crystallizing into, like when you say it, it seems obvious, but I'm sure the amount of expertise that goes into making this work. And by the way, you say it very easily, ki, have 10 cocktails, but I'm sure there's an Excel sheet somewhere where this makes sense for you, for the business, and for your people. And the way you think about everything is just, this is a lesson in entrepreneurship like nothing else. I think, and I have loved every guest who has come on the Barbershop, but I don't think I have walked away as enlightened.
No, you did a great job. To create something with such a major incumbent was absolutely amazing. It's inspiration. I wouldn't be able to do what you do. I'm really serious. No, I'd be very scared if I had to do this.
Seriously,
no, I'm seriously telling you, means I don't know how people build consumer brands with such strong brands sitting in there. Teal or turquoise or blue, as I don't know what color you exactly call this shade.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a absolutely brilliant shade. Yeah. So I can see,
live the brand.
So live the brand, but I think it's absolutely a beautiful shade. I love art and design. I own 2 art galleries. I own an art portal. It's not for profit. But so I'm phenomenally attracted to contemporary art and design in a very big way. And I think the biggest challenges with the team I have is I get very upset when I see poor design. Okay, so it's always fascinating to see great design. I mean, I can see great design from miles away.
No, thank you so much. I think for us, fundamentally, that's the thing. When an incumbent is so strong, and I was telling Aditya also that I think the world of Gillette. I think the focus they've had on everything, like
not really. I'll give you an example. I ordered Gillette Fusion 5. Okay. Because I'm an observer. I'm an observer of things. Yeah. Order it on Amazon. Okay. They have 4-5 packaging, but the bigger packaging is so that you don't have to keep on ordering again. 5, 8, and 10. Okay. The 10 comes in a box where they put 5 blades.
Correct.
They put 4 blades. I'm sorry, not 5. 4, and 2. Means you're such a big company. You could have solved for packaging. So I got it on Amazon and I'm looking at it saying, boss, is this even real or is this fake? Because how can a big company put 3 pieces and leave 2 places empty? If I was doing it, I'd put 12 or 8. Why do you need to sell 10? Think about it. And I think that is the opportunity. And that is guerrilla warfare. If you are big, you are slow. If you are small, you can move really fast. So your biggest weakness is your biggest strength. And your biggest strength that you're so big, is actually your biggest weakness.
Yeah, for us, I think that's what they're so good and best a man can get. And they're everything for everyone. I I think that the opportunity was to go deeper, which is if you're everything for everyone, then we can be something for someone specific. We said, okay, can we be the razor for the first time shaver? Acne on the skin, slightly sensitive. In India now, because of pollution, people have more skin issues. Also, people have a lot more beard. Like someone like me has a beard. If you see your team, etc., you see a lot of people having beards. You want to get the shape right. Like someone like Aditya shaves his cheeks and his neck, leaves and trims his beard. So we said there's a larger opportunity here. An Indian male, especially younger, will have a razor, will have a couple of trimmers for different parts of the body, will have foam, cream, few deodorants, fragrances, some anti-acne, something for the hair. So from a 5-product user, becoming a 15-product user. Razor mein Gillette will continue to enjoy 90% share. But can we take 10% away for the sensitive skin guy? But rest of the assortment, where they're not present, we can easily compete with Philips because we're a grooming company. They're an electronics company. So we can compete on trimmers. Trimmers maybe we go deeper. Because Philips एक trimmer बेचता है for everything, body, intimate areas, सर सबके लिए, दाढ़ी. Like नहीं, face के लिए अलग, सर के लिए अलग, because the ergonomics are different. Body के लिए you need wider blades. You need, so it's very different use cases. So can we go deeper on use case and wider on brand love and more specific to consumer? We can then build a very meaningful brand from a consumer standpoint.
बिल्कुल.
So and then फिर हम लोग flank करते हैं. So I actually wanted to show you something before I let you go. Can I get? This is something that we have for hotels, by the way. And because you think selling is such an important skill, let me see if I can do a good job of this. So think about it this way, right? Men who go into a 15,000 rupee hotel room today, whether it's at the Taj, the Oberoi, at a Hyatt, wherever, Marriott, etc.
Yeah, they get a plastic Gillette razor.
Shaving kit has a plastic. Typically, men don't forget their razor. It's a part of their travel kit. They typically forget the foam or the cream. But the shaving kit will have both things. Like an oral kit will have, dental kit will have a toothpaste.
Generally, they have a Gillette pouch and a plastic razor.
That's pouch कैसे होता है?
वो फटता ही नहीं.
फटता नहीं है. हाथ गीले होता है, फटता नहीं है. ऊपर से जब फटता भी है तो निकलता कैसे है वो? You have to like squeeze it out. वो वीबा का केचप मस्टर्ड होता है ना, वैसा वो पाउच होता है. So we said, okay, fine. How do we make that experience better? Because the consumer doesn't expect a world-class razor because they know that there's going to be a disposable razor. So their expectation on the razor is disposable. Their expectation on the cream and foam is high because वहीं पे forest essentials भी है. You're putting a mint chocolate to sleep on the pillow. So they expect the cream or the foam to be better, but the experience is not good. So we said, okay, fine. Can we innovate on this to make it better? And we are now in Taj hotels. We will be the shaving kit in all of their room nights, starting I think 15th of May or so. We'll start seeing it. And this is the innovation that we've come with. This is a Bombay shaving company shave gel. You can hold it and see. This is the form factor. It's like a credit card.
Nice. Very nice.
Right. And the way it opens.
No. Let me figure it out. Fold and press.
Correct. Press it.
Okay. Oh, so it's coming from here. Beautiful.
Pura nikal.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Very nice.
There we go.
Very nice.
So enough for one shave.
Yeah.
Good quality product. But the real innovation is in this.
Fantastic.
It's recyclable. The person throws it. The hotel can collect it.
And now just make a great razor. And give that razor a feel that nobody else has in the world done that. Be the best hotel razor in the world.
Correct.
And then take a clue on that and saying that out of India, it's better than a Bulgari razor, whatever, it's at 1/15 the cost. A hotel guy charges so much, you can pay better for a razor. And all luxury hotel companies will move to your razors immediately.
Correct.
That is what it has to be. It has to feel good, feel whatever.
Correct. Consumers
will pay. I don't think that's an issue.
Correct.
And people will take away your product. And finally, you want people to take away your product.
Correct. The Taj guy told us चोरी करने लायक होना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल. So चोरी करने आपको चोरी facilitate करनी पड़ेगी. कैसे? At Postcard Hotel, what we do is even one night before you check out, we have if you go online, you'll see it. It's called a Take Me Home pouch. It's got a wet liner inside. Okay? And we say, as a sustainable hotel, our toiletries are world class. What you're seeing is world class. We recommend that you take it away with them. And that is why we're leaving a pouch for you to take it away. So ये मत सोचो कि मैं ले गया toiletries चोरी करके आया. No, we're giving you a pouch on the last night of your stay. With a wet sack, अगर आप लगा लोगे, उसमें से leak भी हो गया अगर वो toiletry, तो आपका बाकी luggage गंदा नहीं करेगा. Okay, so we are letting because that Take Me Home pouch is then used by everybody because it's in organic cotton. It's got black and white at the back. It's a beautiful pouch. Okay, I'll send it to you. You'll love it. Okay, so not only log chori kare, but you have to facilitate because you want people to wake up with your brand. And that's the great advantage you have at Bombay Shaving Company, that people have to wake up with your brand.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Perfora, Colgate, Bombay Shaving Company, Gillette, we all like, the first things I want to lose.
Yeah, of course. So I think that's a great opportunity. And even if I lose some bucks doing that, maybe finally I will not.
Yeah.
But
you get back much more than
you get much more because people take it, people talk about it, and your brand is in people's home.
Okay.
Finally, so even if you go online and you'll see, and I'll send it to you, all our bags are also not paper bags. They are organic cotton tote bags with a different message. Sunshine and swims, a slow coach, escape artist. It's all got a different message on a tote bag, and that tote bag, we want people to take it away. People take it away. So on airports when they're walking, it's like they're like carrying the brand everywhere. I think that's the thing. But this is absolutely amazing. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Again, just your graphics are amazing. Whoever's doing your graphics is amazing.
This is
understands that person understands design, understands fonts,
Thank you so much.
understands color.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So this will really mean the world. Coming from you especially.
No, but this is absolutely amazing. Man. I can tell you. If I don't like something, I tell you I don't like it. But this is absolutely amazing. It's very nice.
Thank you
It's
so much.
absolutely. But congratulations.
Thank you so much.
But again, I think this is where you're solving. Means Gillette's been around for 10 years, haven't solved. Means nothing wrong with Gillette.
They're an amazing company. I think when someone becomes so successful, they show you the path. And on that path, there will always be like opportunities.
So I think Gorilla. I think just too big. Sometimes they're not able to innovate fast enough. I think what we did at Postcard Hotel, and I thought it'll be copied, and a lot of people copied and tried to do smaller hotels after we did. But why hasn't anybody copied the service standards? And I'm saying, why don't you want to give people? They're so scared to give people that power. You know, I don't know if it's true or not, but many years back, I read that the elevator button, which said that the doors will close, actually never made the doors close.
It's a placebo.
It's basically giving you perceived control. So you felt, I pressed it and the doors closed. So when we allow you anytime check in, check out, it's perceived control. Not that you're going to game it and say, can I come in at 12:01 and leave at 11:59 the next day and leave paper one night? No, it doesn't. You need to give people control. And when you are giving away control, you don't need to be nervous about it.
Yeah. You know, if there's one, before we leave, if there's one thing you will tell entrepreneurs who are listening to you, or potential entrepreneurs, our audience is younger. 18 to 25 is our core audience, right? They come here for inspiration. They listen to stories like yours and they're like, "Meko bhi kuch karna hai." And our success metric ye hai ki of the million people who listen to this over a period of time, if 1% decides कि मेरे को कुछ करना है, कपिल सर को सुना, मैं भी कुछ करूंगा या कुछ करूंगी, we feel कि this was worth our time, right? So what is that one message you will leave for them?
So I think the biggest message, I'll repeat it, is let the work be your win. Don't do it because I want a valuation. Don't do it because you'll be cool. Don't do it because entrepreneurship is such a sexy thing to do. Do it because you love coming to work every day, and that is your win. So when you wake up at 9 a.m. and you walk into what you're doing, you won. If you come in with that mindset, you will always build. You'll build passionately. Nothing will discourage you because there will be dark nights.
Yeah.
And the nights get darker and darker so many times. But that's okay. It means you will let the work be your win. But that requires a lot of mental conditioning. So I think somebody like me who came from a normal middle class background, rose to the top of a company, and then again started from zero to become an entrepreneur at 44 and saying, let's do it. I think that's the only thing that kept me alive. Like, I just absolutely love what I do. I love EazyDiner. I love the Postcard Hotel. I love the impact that's making. I love our hotels. I love eating out. I love restaurants. And I think even if you can make any significant contribution, I think it's big. And that's my advice to every single entrepreneur. Just do it if you love it, because there will be enough dark nights. And just don't get scared. Let the work be your win. I've got it written everywhere. And the other phrase I've got written in, you come to my office, is, that it's supposed to be hard. Yeah, it's really supposed to be hard. And the hard is what makes it great. So so it's supposed to be hard. And if you kind of embrace that, and you really embrace that, and it takes a lot of practice, I think that will work. But I'll leave you with a final story. And the final story is on Barbershop. Okay, I think what you're doing is very inspiring because it's telling people the stories, and like I heard some of the earlier podcasts, and it's leaving people the story, and that's a very important thing. So whenever I get an opportunity, and you're doing it at a much larger scale, get an opportunity to speak to younger people, I always will make time to go and speak. And I learned it from President Kalam. So I was a big fan of President Kalam. Why? Intellectual capital will trump legacy capital. Yeah. So number one poster boy.
Correct.
Yeah. So intellectual capital winning. Okay. And I went to listen to him. Yeah. He was speaking at a conference in a hotel, and I went to listen. Okay, they said President of India is speaking, so I went to listen to him. And President Kalam said something very nice. He says, a teacher has a very important role to play. So he said this story. He says, so I was born in a very poor village in Tamil Nadu. So I had to walk some 7-8 kilometers to my school. And, very close to one day, we had a teacher, I think his name was Mr. Ramanujan. I think that's what he said. He said Mr. Ramanujan was a poor village teacher, teaching in a school, but teaching us science. He says, so one day Mr. Ramanujan took us to the sea and he made all of us lie down on the beach. And then he says, watch how the birds glide and float without flapping their wings. Look at how they're, looking at the air and using the sea currents and the air that's coming up on top and using that to navigate. And he says, he kept on explaining to us there. He said, lying on that beach, Mr. Ramanujan, a poor school village teacher in a remote area of Tamil Nadu, did not know that he was inspiring a 10-year-old to become a scientist who would finally go and run DRDO, who would finally become the president of India. So at any given moment, Shantanu, you do not know whom you're inspiring.
Yeah,
and I think that's such a significant contribution to entrepreneurship.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is a pleasure. And we have a gift for you.
Aur ab to milte nahi hum log to visit.
Here you go.
Thank you. Wow.
So the trimmer.